Alright. That's a nice addition. They actually ask if you want to go live. So, here we are playing this Cuphead. I have no idea what this does, but we're going to roll with it. I forgot. I think I gotta go. Because I'm stuck on this boss now. I probably won't beat it in this live stream, but I'm just gonna say fuck it and just do it for the first 30 minutes. Because I almost beat it like 3 times. I almost beat this boss like 3 times last night. It takes a lot of concentration because I suck at 2D games. Like, I suck at 2D games. I don't even know how I got hit right there. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't even know if that... Cuphead is a mental workout. Yeah. Yeah. So games like Cuphead, I come back to Cuphead. I play Enter the Gungeon, that 30XX, that Mega Man roguelite, Hades. Like, I just play them. Like, I'll come back to them like when I'm bored, kind of thing. I just don't have anything else to play. But I don't stick with them long. I just play them like for a temporary amount of time, you know, until I beat like one particular boss I'm stuck at. Like right now, I'm stuck here. So it's not like, so, because I was playing Dark Souls, or not Dark Souls, Lies of P before. And, like, my thing is, like, I don't have a problem with difficult games as long as it's just, like, there's some form of consistency and it's difficult. Whereas, like, I just don't care for Dark Souls, like, at all. I just think I said it last week, I think Dark Souls is just a terrible game. That whole FromSoft. See, I don't know if that actually hits them or not if I don't hit them. But, yeah, I just don't care for FromSoft, like, at all. I think they're just terrible. Like, because this game is definitely not easy. Like, it's definitely unforgiving. But, like, even though I get, like, frustrated, of course, because I'm, like, stuck. But I'm never, like... It never feels like Dark Souls type of punishing. Whereas, like, it just doesn't feel consistent kind of thing. Oh, shit. This motherfucker. Okay, yeah, so I got here last night, and this is a weirdly... Oh, God. That's the best I've ever dodged it. This is the best I've ever done. Yeah, I'm going to take that hit. I got 2 hits left. Fuck. Come on, is he dead yet? I got him! I just... Fuck, I was stuck on that motherfucker last night. I finally beat him. What grade I get? Probably some shitty grade, because I'm not the best at this shit where I'm at. What'd I get? I got a B, fuck. Alright. If you can hit the bright pink floating things with the parry. Yo, Simjohn, yeah, so, what's up, Mike? Yeah, so with the parry... When I played this game, probably, I play like maybe like once or twice a month. I'll go on like a spree and just be tired of it for another month. So when I was playing it like about a month ago, I was real good at parrying, right? Because I think back then I played Katana Zero, and that game, like, parrying is like almost a must in Katana Zero. So, oh my God, this app is doing this again. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Okay. Yeah, so I was like perfect with parrying. Had no issue with it. I just remembered last night that you could parry like halfway through my play session, and like I just can't parry anymore like at all. Well, maybe it was just that mission I can't parry anymore, but what? Oh, now I could cross this. Yeah, because this was blocked. Okay. Now this is why I don't know why I keep getting a player 2 thing coming up. Like I don't know what this is about. Why I keep getting this. But yeah, like I just can't parry anymore. Or maybe it was just because I was in the airplane. Like if you're on foot, I think I'm better. So I have no idea what's going on. I haven't made it this far yet. Oh. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. And for some reason I got a player 2, and I don't know why I got a player 2. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know why I have a player 2. And it always does. It was doing this last month. For some reason, like I get another player and I don't want this other player. See, now I'm confused of which one is actually me. I don't know. Oh, yeah. I got no idea. Oh, shit, it came back. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea what to do. And if I knew how to take this player 2 shit off, I would take it off. Maybe I could go back to the map and take this shit off. Okay, here it is. Yeah, so now I actually know which one is me. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, that was coming. What? What? Why do I keep... I don't want player 2. What the f... Oh my God. Oh my God. Can I at least get to the second stage? You take out this player. Do you like Star Fox? Oh yeah, I had Star Fox, the one on the Wii U. I had the Star Fox on the Wii U, and even though a lot of people didn't like it, like I thought it was a great game. I didn't beat it. I got probably about a little more than halfway through it, but I really thought it was a great game. Why does it keep doing that shit? I thought Star Fox was a great, the one on, because the Wii U version got a lot of hate. A lot of hate. Did I parry it? I don't know. No idea. Oh, I can move. I'm moving. I didn't know I could even move the plane. Okay, got this. What? Okay, yeah, I got no idea what I'm doing. Oh my God. Why does it keep doing this shit? And this is the only game that does that, man. I don't know why it keeps doing. Well, it's probably the only game that has it. But... So I don't know which one of these is actually me. So is there a way you can just like completely take off that player, whatever that player 2 shit is? Cause like I don't know why it keeps doing that. I just want to just take it completely out. Hey D, why you put yourself through Cuphead trauma? Like yo, like yeah, I was saying earlier, like with the Cuphead, like I don't have a problem with Cuphead. I wonder if there's a way I could take off that 2-player shit. Yeah, remove it. Just remove 2. Yeah, okay, there we go. But now my controller's not working. Okay, wait. Oh my god. Now, like, this is the only game that causes me issues with the controller. I don't know why it does this. And then I cannot play this with a keyboard and mouse. That's just not happening. I'm not playing this with a keyboard and mouse, like, at all. Do a barrel roll. Yeah. But yeah, but about what I was saying about Cuphead, man, like I don't have an issue with Cuphead because at least the controls are like they genuinely feel consistent and like clear. Because I played through, I beat Celeste, and that game was a pretty fucking difficult game. I don't have a problem with difficulty as long as it's just consistent, right? Like when it loses that consistency. Like, I just don't feel like FromSoft, they just, like, I think that they try to, like, put that in as part of their game. And, it's, again, like, I see where FromSoft is trying to go, but, like, they just don't, something about them is just not right. So, like, I don't care for Elden Ring, Bloodborne, none of that shit. Because I just don't I just think it's all just shit. But, like, so, but with Cuphead is hard, don't get me wrong, it's difficult as fuck. I'll tell you what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get out of this and... Because this game always gives me issues with the controller. We just gonna do, where was I at? I'll do, you guys can see the screen, but I don't care. You know, do enter the Gungeon. Oh, no, I put it here. So, but yeah, and Enter the Gungeon, I think it's pretty difficult. People don't say it is, but I think it's like definitely pretty hard. It took me a while before I could get like consistently halfway decent kind of thing. So this is a roguelike. It's called Enter the Gungeon. It's one of those bullet hell kind of games. But yeah, for me, like, the controls are everything. And I just feel like Elden Ring just kind of does this thing where, like, intentionally makes the controls difficult. Like to kind of like this outdated Resident Evil from, like, the late 90s, early 2000s that they try to, like, give it a personality. And I just don't care for it, like, at all. Well, I never played Resident Evils because of that whole awkward control shit. So like my thing is like as long as it controls just consistently. That's the boss fight already. That's fast. This is fast as watch I die because I have no upgrades. I might be alright. Because I found a way to cheese this boss. As long as there's like something to hide behind, this boss is easy. Is really is much more easier to fight. And if you're just in an open environment, then you don't have a lot of problems. Because I played him a couple days ago like this. So you could just like you could really cheese it by just like hiding behind this shit. And wait so he just has to reload. But if it wasn't for this wall, like this would be a lot more fucking complicated with just the basic pistol. Oh my god. Ooh. Jeez. Run around this motherfucker. No, run! Got him. Yeah, that fight's a lot easier if you got something to hide behind. If I had to fight him like out in the open, that shit would have been fucking. That would have been way worse than that. Like a lot worse. And I didn't have any other gun. I don't even know what this gun is. I was just like that was like a straight ahead. If that had been out in the open, I would have got my fucking cheeks clapped. Like, far harder than that. It's easy if you can hide behind a wall with him. But he's about the only boss I've seen that you can do that. Oh, God. And by the way, I'm not the best person in this game. Because there's guys, like, when it comes to shit like this, like, there's guys who fucking are just unbelievable. So these bad guys that they're throwing at me, a lot of these I've never seen before. You know what? I'm not gonna use this gun. I'm gonna say that for a boss fight. This shit only happens when you play online, man. Like, I'll go through a mission for about 10 minutes straight without finding this. I'm at the boss fight again. This fast. This shit never happens this fast normally. I've never beaten this one either. This is the snake. I've never beaten the snake. We gonna see what happens. Oh God. Oh, shit. I've never beaten a snake. That's the first time I've ever beaten a snake. And I almost ran out of ammo, too. What gun is this? Oh, wow. I only got 60 of that. Let's see what it says about this gun. I've never gotten these guns or gotten this far. Or beat. I've never... Because, okay, with the boss fights, it gives you, like... You never know what boss you're going to get the first... Like, so, for example, okay, when you play Hades, like... Hades is the same, well, it is randomly generated levels, but like the boss order is still always going to be the same when you go in. Whereas this game, it flips, like you never know what boss you're getting ready to get or in what setting you're getting ready to get, right? So the few times I fought the snake, I died. And then there was I think, no, I did beat Medusa. You do fight Medusa. I beat her one time. And there was another snake or something that's like under ice water or something like that. I only seen that one time and died to that motherfucker too. But yeah, these guns I've never had, and I've never beaten a snake. So we all in new territory now. You and me. I'm gonna know just as much as you know about this motherfucker from here on out. Probably. Well, you never know, because it's all randomly generated, so you never really know. Yeah, see, I don't know what... I've never fought that, whatever that is. There, I've never fought that before. Can I walk on this? I see. I don't know if I can even walk on this. I can. Okay. God. God. Okay. Oh. Where's the help? Thanks for the ammo. I got 6 bullets left with that motherfucker, man. Okay. Don't fall off the track. Oh, there's a fucking wagon right here I could have taken. Give me this. What is this? I need something. What? Oh my God. Yeah, I got my main gun. Oh, and I got access. I've never had this much money before. I've never had 100 something. So up in the top left, that gold that has the 111, that's how much money I had. I've never had more than like 50. Balloon gun. I need health. I need HELF. And see, this is what I like about these kind of games. Oh, hang on, let me plugging up my charger because it's hooked up to the Switch right now. What I do like about these games is like, so it always has some kind of new gun, right? And I have no idea what this balloon gun will actually do. Like, it's just named balloon gun, but you don't know what it'll do, right? So like, you never, unless you had a gun before, which is like fairly rare, especially as early into the game, like that gun might be super fucking gangster, right? Or it might be a complete waste of money. So it's like, since I've never beaten a snake before, I'm gonna go ahead and pass. But no, I can afford, because I got 100. So I can afford this and, wait, 63 plus 35, 90. No, I don't got enough for all of that. Because this gun is pretty gangster. I'm gonna go with the armor. Do I have enough? What's this? 63. I'm gonna go with this. I really want to save that gun for a boss fight because that gun's really good. Oh God. Oh, I'm tripping. I have the dude, his specialty is to call in more ammo. I'm fucking tripping. Wait, so I got 2 shields and like 3 real hits left. Well, I say I'm alright. This ain't really the most. I mean, with my skill level, this ain't the most prepared I could be, but it's not really worth. Oh, see, I've never fought this. I have no idea what to do. I've never fought a tank. This is new shit. Oh, God! Shoot! I was holding. He was probably reloading. How far was I away? I'm gonna watch the replay. I almost had him. Fuck. I'm watching the replay. Yeah, I didn't know I was reloading. Well, yeah, I only had 102 kills, so like I wasn't really much further than I usually end up dying about 100, 110, something like that. So I really wasn't too far ahead. They just threw a whole bunch of random new shit. I've only beaten this game once. What's up, DMG? Damn, AD, you're on a run. Hey, D, where you got this game and what's it called? This game is called Enter the Gungeon. It's a fairly older game, probably about 4 or 5, maybe 6 years old. I don't know, but I stumbled across it and like tried it. Well, the first roguelike I finally tried was Hades. Hades is like by far like, as far as like story wise and shit like that, like and voiceover work, Hades is like the premium roguelike. Like you can't really, in my opinion, on an overall level, you really can't get too much better than Hades. Because like there's just like the whole theory of the story and what's behind it, like all of that is just like perfect kind of thing. So in the story, I'll fire up Hades. In the story of Hades, you're this, I forget, you're some kind of like lesser known fucking devil, demon, whatever the fuck, and you're in hell and you want to get out. But it's like it's in Greek mythology, I'm pretty sure. Like pretty much like how Kratos was. Like Kratos is a real dude in Greek mythology, but he has a very small role in Greek mythology. Hades is kind of like that same theory. They took a dude whose name was probably mentioned 5 times at most in mythology, but so that gave him more work room to like make his own character. I could be a little wrong with that, excuse me, but so in Hades, the whole theory is to get out of hell or Hades, right? And your roguelike run is that you got to have like a perfect run to get all the way out of hell, right? And it's like procedurally generated rooms with, and you get like, random, you can pick different weapons. And that was the first game I had tried, and I thought it was amazing because that game and Returnal was another one. Usually, I would never recommend a game like Returnal. I tried to play it on a stream one time, and it just, my computer just can't handle too much fast moving graphics. This MacBook just can't do it for some reason. I probably don't have enough something. But Returnal and Hades, in my opinion, are the two perfect roguelikes, or roguelite, because the story really adds. Like this game, it doesn't have too much of a great. Dead Cells is pretty fun too. I got Dead Cells on Game Pass. Dead Cells is in my opinion is by far like the best responsive game between that and Neon Abyss that I've played at least. But the story behind it, like Returnal, like dying is a part of the progression of the story. So you find in Returnal, like the first 2 times I'm playing, I'm like, yeah, this really ain't all that fun, right? Like it was, I was going to the same areas as I was dying. I didn't die like a lot because it's not very difficult in the beginning. But when the story starts to come out, it's like, wow, like Returnal is actually like a really good game. But I think a lot of people will be put off by it from the fact that a part of the progression is you're going to die because you're just not going to know what to do against a certain boss fight, right? At some point. And so I think that's going to put off a lot. It put me off. I was completely against Returnal. Didn't want to touch it. Didn't touch it since it came out. I tried it maybe probably about 4 or 5 months ago. I fucked around and I said, fuck it. I'm just gonna try it. Tried it. Didn't like it much at first. And after that story picked up, I was like, yeah, this is all right. Returnal is the game that motherfuckers on the first NES was like trying to make back then, but they just didn't have the graphics yet, type of shit, or the technology. And that's where I think Bloodborne, where the FromSoft games is gonna get. Like, in my opinion, there's a whole genre of games that never did too well because they just didn't have the technology, or they just didn't collaborate with the right people, whatever. And I think FromSoft really suffers from that. I think FromSoft is going to be great, like genuinely great. I just don't think it's right now. I think people just want to like it because it's difficult. But I don't think there's a lot missing in their shit, right? But I think that they're going to be to the gaming industry. I said, who knows, 5, 10, 20 years from now, what Returnal is to the old NES games, right? The old NES games, there was tons of games in that same theory, but they were, more 2D games. That's all it was on NES. But there was a ton of games with that same kind of atmosphere and shit, but they just didn't have the technology to do what Returnal can do and tell a story in that way. But yeah, Returnal, I can't give it enough praise. Because you play as a woman, and you wreck on a planet, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like I was like, wow, like this is the whoever the woman was who did the voiceover did a excellent job. The graphics, in my opinion, look pretty fucking great. Somebody's gonna nitpick the graphics. I'm not too much into graphics. Like if the game, like this game, the game is just fun. It has good mechanics. The game is just fun and has good mechanics. But the story, the voiceover, Hades is the same way. The story, the voiceover work, the slowly unraveling of what's happening type of shit, why you there and all that shit. Hades and Returnal are two games that don't. I would, if you're on the fence about them, I would recommend those games. But I would say you have to die at least 3, which you're going to, but you have to die at least 3 or 4 times before it finally starts to all click, and it's like, oh wow, like you start having so in Hades, when you die, you get kicked all the way back to like the beginning of hell, and you got to get all the way back out. But if you go through, right, and you start beating bosses, and then you finally die, and you get kicked back to the beginning, well, all that voiceover work plays along with the story, so it's like, when you come across that boss, now they're like, oh yeah, so we got to fight again, huh? Like, you ain't learned your lesson last time, motherfucker. Like, shit, like, then it's like genuinely refreshing fucking voiceover work that's like, wow. See, it's in my opinion, it's everything that FromSoft has some good voiceover work. I'm not gonna bash them for that. I give them that. From Elden Ring and Armored Core, they had some good voiceover work in my opinion. But it's like it's the real hearts of not just being doom and gloom, but adding in like a genuine other either personality or character or whatever that keeps it kind of fresh. Because like it might because with the Bloodborne and all that shit, it's just too much darkness and too much depressing. Like Elden Ring, I deleted it. I'm never gonna play Elden Ring again. I'm just never gonna. It's just too dark. It's too depressive. And then on top of that, like, there's nothing to look forward to in the game. Like, for example, like with games like this, you never know what weapon you're going to get next, right? And it's going to genuinely be something interesting kind of thing. Like, Elden Ring, no, just no. Let me guess, it's going to be a big-ass sword. Shocker. I'm not impressed, dude. Like, I'm not. Armored Core, and that's why I think I stuck with Armored Core longer, was because the weapons were at least a bit more interesting kind of thing. And you can, like, actually build. Well, you could build up your character in Elden Ring, too, or all those FromSoft games. But it's just, I just don't care. I just think FromSoft is just not where it really genuinely can shine to keep up with, like, to genuinely keep up with, with modern games. I think FromSoft games are just... Armored Core is pretty good. I give Armored Core that. But the rest, all those Dark Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, I just think they're just either they're outdated, one, and two, Elden Ring just literally copied Breath of the Wild's formula and just made made Demon Souls, whatever the fuck, built off of that. I just hate FromSoft, man. I really liked Returnal. It was so bullet timey, and the story felt complete. Yo, yeah, Simja. Oh, I loved it. What's up, PTR? Yeah, yeah, I loved. I never beat Returnal because again, like these roguelikes or roguelites, um, I'll play them for like 3 or 4 days on a long streak, and then just won't touch it again for like a month or two type of thing. So I like once I get done with this streak of playing Enter the Gungeon, I won't touch it for another month, maybe two, or like with Cuphead, won't touch it again for a month, maybe two, and then or like Dead Cells. I think Dead Cells is great. I'm in the clock tower right now. I probably won't touch it again for another month. I just go through but when I jump back in it, I'm genuinely having fun. Like, it's like genuine fun with these roguelike, because or like with the Mega Man. Well, yeah, I said I was gonna fire that. Let me fire up that Mega Man. Where is it? I gotta think. Let me fire up Mega Man. So the Mega Man game. Oh, that's right. It does this stupid shit. Like for some reason, it won't actually shut down. It just like stops responding every time I do this. So I might have to just restart the whole computer. Because it always does this shit. Every time I log out, it just never... And I can't even launch the task manager. Because I was going to play the Mega Man. I can see I'm lagging now. Which I shouldn't be. Let me, hang on, let's do this. Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, I played Baldur's Gate 3. I played Baldur's Gate 3 for about an hour or 2 hours. It was a great game. Don't get me wrong. It was a great. I'm just not a fan of turn-based games. So like, I mean, as far as the storytelling goes, just the genuine effort put into it. Like, I thought Baldur's Gate 3 was amazing. I never played any of those kind of games before, like those magic games. So like I didn't really know like it was a much harder learning curve for me because I didn't know, and I didn't know how to do any of that. This DS4 app is like fucking up. My controller's not working again. So I always have to go in and... But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 was, that was really... But again, I'm just not a fan of I mean, like the story, all of that is seriously like top notch. Like top notch. I don't think it gets much better than that as far as like the effort into the story. And hang on, I'm trying to get this controller. Here we go. Okay, because I want to fire up the Mega Man. Here it is. I want to fire up this Mega Man game. Just I'm not gonna play through it long. I'm just gonna just do a quick run through just to show, in case anybody remembers Mega Man. It's not technically Mega Man. It's it's technically like some dude just kind of made it and like just copied Mega Man and made a roguelike with it. So it's not Mega Man, but it's Mega Man, right? But I think it's a great game. It's Mega Man roguelite. But I think it's great. I think this game is another great game. Gotta remember the controls. Like, here's the thing. I don't think this game is very hard. Like, a lot of people say that this game is very difficult. Okay, now this level always gives me a hard time, though. I'll tell you that much. I can't beat this boss. Because this boss is it's like a corporate head or something like that. And he has like 3 big hands. And like, I can't beat him. I don't know how to beat him. Or maybe I just never got the proper power up. But outside of this boss, like, this game's not very hard. It's just the whole fact that you can't die or you restart. But people, like, I don't think this game's very hard. Oh, I got the homing add-on. Oh shit. Turn it up. Is it lagging? It is lagging a little bit. Let me see if I make this. A little smaller, that might help. Okay. I don't think this game's very difficult at all, though. Like, in like Cuphead's definitely like on a whole nother level. It's just the fact that you just can't die. Oh, oh God. Is it lagging pretty bad? Yeah, I can see it skipping a little bit, but now this bad guy always gives me problems. So it's score points +5, vitality, enemies drop more health, attacks against full HP targets is 20%. Attacks against full HP targets. So my problem is not going to be the bad guys. My problem is going to be fighting this boss. I don't know how to beat him. I only fought him once. Because this whole level is, because like here's the thing with this game, man. Like different bosses, like there's one, I think the clock tower, like that boss is incredibly easy as a boss fight. Other bosses are like challenging, but like this boss, I only fought him one time. I didn't have enough time to really like get down his pattern like at all. So like I don't know, let's say 25% extra damage, but that's just the first hit. And if I was fighting like hard bad guys, I would pick that. But I don't have any issues fighting like regular. I'm just gonna do this. Oh shit. Yes, I don't know. I don't know how to beat this dude. Because soon he's gonna like shoot out. Yes, this is where. What the? Oh my god. Is that? Oh, okay, yeah. So these do all the damage. You gotta shoot. Oh! I didn't know that. That's how you hurt him. I thought you had to shoot him. It's the gas tanks. You gotta shoot the gas tanks at the hands. That's how you kill him. I didn't know that. What's this? No aiming necessary. Okay. I've never been on this mission. But it shouldn't be. This, like I said, this game is not too hard. It's just the boss fights they get that, like, you really have to know what you're doing. Okay. Oh, I thought I was standing on that thing. What the? Oh, God. Yeah, we gonna pass that on up, bro. I'm not that good. Oh, shit! Yeah, I don't know what this does either. I always see this. I don't know what it does at all. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I should have hit under the thing. Okay, I see. Oh. Jesus Christ. Overkill enemies by 30. I don't even know what overkill does. Attack damage up, power damage down. Trades power damage for energy. No, I don't want that. I'm gonna lose track of that shit. Overkilling enemy. I don't even know what overkilling does at all. So I'm gonna get my cheeks clapped on this boss. It's pretty fairly guaranteed. Oh, shit. Because I've never been on this level before. dropped any health. Okay. What's this? While HP in red, your abilities greatly. How much I got? 25. Attack against full HP. So yeah, we gonna roll with this one. Wait, while in red. I don't know if I should get the more. If I should just buy more health. Fuck it. I'm just gonna do this. Because now I don't have enough money to buy one. Yeah, so you see that you are too poor, insufficient fund, extreme poverty detected. They had to put all my business on the street like that. Oh, I gave my life for that? Wait, hang on. 10 HP for $1. Wait, no, what's this? For one. Fuck, I don't know if I'm even thinking about that right now. He's gonna roll with it. Yeah, I'm gonna get my cheeks clapped, dude. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. What? Okay. Oh my God. Jesus. I got him down to half-life. Alright, yeah, so that's the Mega Man game. I knew I was gonna get my cheeks clapped. I had no idea what his pattern was or anything. So yeah, that's Mega Man. To tell you what, we're just gonna switch it. Take this off. All right. But yeah, all I care about is consistency, man. Like when it comes to games, they just have to stay consistent. I just had to feel like my inputs are actually going through, kind of thing. Once I feel like the inputs don't go through, that's when I fucking can't stand it. What's up, AD? Past 2 weeks been binging the Batman Arkham games. Oh, those are great games, man. Those are great games. I'm gonna do. Let me open up this article. But yeah, those are great. The Arkham games are great. Because I remember when Arkham City came out, I really didn't think that was gonna be. I really thought they were gonna have a real. Because Arkham Asylum was so great. Arkham Asylum was seriously so great that I did not think that they were gonna have, and I didn't think they could ever top that, like, at all. I really didn't think they'd be able to top that. Oh, you guys can't see. Hang on, let me switch it. But they did, like, because Arkham City, because it was a whole theory of like, yeah, now you're like in the city type of shit. And you're in the city, right? And it was on. Wait, where am I? I'm trying to find video capture, window capture. You're in the city, and it was supposed to be believable that you were in the city. And I really didn't think it was going to be great, but when they had him, he was in prison and all that shit. I remember when they first showed like the setting of it, and he was in prison as Bruce Wayne. I was like, oh wow, like that might actually be all right. Like, because Arkham Asylum was great, and that whole idea theory, like you're at Arkham Asylum, you're at the fucking prison where all the crazy motherfuckers are at. But so that made sense. Like everybody was just a bad guy. So in my opinion, I always thought it was going to be kind of hard to put Batman in like a real city and make it believable, kind of thing. So they set up Arkham City great. Now that's kind of where Arkham Knight kind of like fell apart, because like they had to come up with another excuse to get like all the regular pedestrians like away from the city type of thing. But it was still great. Don't get me wrong. But like that was always an issue that I always kind of seen coming with Batman, with the Batman games. But they're all great though. I love it. You have to like Batman games. And again, I remember when Arkham Knight came out. I remember all the all the hate it got when it came out. Like I loved it, man. I remember because I played it on PC and people were like roasting the PC port of it. I had all these glitches. I loved every minute of it from beginning, except okay on my first run through. I didn't like what I didn't like was how they forced you in those Batmobile fights. I didn't care for it. They just kind of forced it too much and it just got annoying kind of thing. So it turned into like Dark Souls. Like I'm frustrated, so now I'm dying because I'm upset because I don't want to do it, kind of thing. but outside of that, like, but yeah, somebody mentioned Baldur's Gate, Leonardum. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 was like that was real shit. Cuphead, yeah, I play it like off and on. Any new books that you're reading? Oh yeah, I just got some. Here, I'll show you. So when I go to the Department of Sociology for Charles University, they always have like free books they're giving out. So these are the free. Let me switch it to me to show you what I'm reading now. So, well, I haven't opened these. I just kind of skimmed through them. But they give these out for free because they get too many books. So they just give books out. They just sit them outside and they just sit there. They're free because they order too many. So this one is Individuals and Households in the Czech Republic and CEE countries. This one is Migration Trends. I just skimmed through it. But on the way back, I stopped by a bar and I started drinking beer and I called my dad and talked to him for a while. But I started reading these two. I seen this one a while back, a Noam Chomsky. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but I always kind of want to just try reading it because it's a small book. So I got this one from the Department of Sociology, but this is a rented book. This isn't mine. The other three are mine. And this one was actually pretty good. I was skimming through this. I was reading through this while I was at the bar. So this is Local Democracy in Post-Communist Europe, right? And it really goes over like the same. This was actually pretty interesting. Like I kept reading it while I was drinking, like in the bar. Like I'll just go alone with just books and just like drink beer and read books or listen to philosophy or on YouTube or something like that. So in this book, this goes on about how, like pretty much once Czech Republic got like its freedom, 70% of all their municipalities were just broke, which is very common. Like, and this is something that I think is very, I think the whole concept of debt is just really, really misunderstood by the people because like, dude, like your state is in debt. Your country, if you're watching this, either your state or country is in debt or they need somebody to protect them. You can't have both. You can't protect yourself and not be in debt in some kind of way because that debt's going to come from finance and education, right? That's just how it is. So this book, the one about democracy in post-communist Europe, is going in on statistical facts of the country, right? And pretty much the same theory, how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It digs up distribution wealth between the years of 1989 to 1992, like when communism ended. And it's the same story. Like the top richer kept getting richer and everybody else went down type of thing. Same thing, right? But then I went in, then I just kind of like went and looked into like different countries' debt, different states' debt, different municipalities' debt. I'll do like, and one thing I stumbled on that I thought was pretty interesting. I could bring it up. I think was it North Dakota? They actually have a lot of debt there. Let's do this. Let's just do debt by state. So is this the website? Yeah. So here's every. Can you guys see this? Because it's on a it's on a delay. I don't know why it keeps delaying like that. Yeah. So here's the debt by state. Like everybody's state is in debt, dude. Like everybody's state is in debt. Like your state is in debt by billions. Right? Like I think the whole concept of debt is just like, is just motherfuckers trying to find a way to compete with each other. What's this? His asses. But this is the real shit. The average state debt is $64 billion. Like your state is in debt. And here's the thing: it's not just America. It's every country in Europe is in debt. Like I said, if every country is not in debt, every country is either in severe debt or it can't protect itself. You have to pick one, right? If you're not in debt, then you can't protect yourself. Right? Something's super fucked up in there and you need to be maintained, or people are getting beaten down. Something's off, right? But yeah. But one thing I found interesting was okay, this is slightly off because this what's it? No, yeah, North Dakota has a lot of debt. So this might be old, or this might be from a different year, but this is the debt of every state. Right? California has the most debt. It has $500 billion. The state of California is in $500 billion debt. New York City's in $368 billion. And Ohio, where I'm from, I think they're in the top 10 with like 93 billion. But yeah, you go to let's say, because I know what's coming next is like, oh yeah, the U.S. is fucked up. Like no, dude, like everybody's country. Let's see. Let's do this. Yeah. So let's do like or you go to Africa. It's the same thing. Africa, everything. Like everybody's in debt. So yeah. Oh, or no. I'll tell you what I was looking at earlier today. So Czech literally just gets built. See, and this is why I talk about the European Union and why I think it's like my opinion is the European Union at least turned into a method to just pay off the poor Europeans from coming over to the rich European side, right? Because if you just look into it at any capacity, you'll find that yeah, like Poland, Czech Republic, like these poor EU countries, like they're literally just taking billions. They're putting in like a billion and getting like billions back for it just by existing, right? And they're going to take the money because they need it, right? But see, it's these areas of it's like say with the EU, like most people wouldn't, most Europeans don't know this, right? If you were to like legitimately sit down and talk to them about it, they wouldn't know. I'm trying to think, where was I going to go? Oh, let's do this. Does so Europe pays like so here's what so the reality of healthcare. This is something else I always want to talk about. The reality of healthcare in Europe, like people always say like North America is so expensive for healthcare, blah 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 blah. And then it's always like some European going, "Oh my God, well I live in a developed country, I could just go to the hospital." Like no, like see, Europeans are paying for health insurance. Like wherever you are on Earth, if you're in Canada, if you're in South America, if you're in Africa, wherever, and you don't have you don't have to, you're not paying a monthly health insurance premium. You're paying for health insurance. It's just coming out of your taxes and you don't know it. You're paying for it. It's not free, right? And it's like little areas like that. I think the world just is like so ignorant or just so xenophobic to like automatically hate North America when they don't, when they don't know their own system at all, kind of thing. It's just really, it's really sick. AD, you don't keep up with the NFL. No, I didn't see that. The dog. I did hear. I was watching this guy I've been watching for years. His name is Joey Robbins. He gets like maybe 10 views a live stream, but I always watch him. He was playing Castlevania, which is one of those shit Dark Souls games where the difficulty is more in its poor controls in the actual game. And during his live stream, somebody commented that the Dolphins had like 700 yards in total offense or something like that, which is absolutely, for those of you not in either in America or in the football, like 700 yards in one game is like That's like, you know, video game shit. You don't hear that. You like a 500-yard, 600-yard game would be like, that was like the St. Louis Rams when Kurt Warner was there type shit. Like, you don't see that all the time unless you got like, you know, you have some heavy hitters on offense. That was back when Kurt Warner was with the Rams. You'd fuck around and see that, you know, 600-yard total offense type of shit. That was back when Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Ricky Prohl, Marshall Faulk. I can't remember the tight end's name right now. But yeah, that was back in them days when you had an offense like that. But yo, 80, does out there have anywhere like Cedar Point from Ohio? I very rarely went to Cedar Point, so I honestly don't even remember. But exactly Cedar Point. But if I gather where you're going with it, like as far as amusement parks, I've never seen an amusement park. Okay, this is the crazy part about when they do have like fairs, because you know in America, at least when I was a kid, you paid like $10 to just get into the fair. They had like rides and, you know, games and shit like that. You paid $10 and you can ride the ride that you want to ride, right? Well, there was a fair across the street when my girl, she was working at one of the locations for her shop. And they had a fair open across the street. And they had, you know, like the little mini roller coaster. You know, they have like small roller coasters. They're nothing like in like Ohio, like you know, like Kings Island or nothing like that. They're like small, like kiddie roller coasters type. Like I'll ride these roller coasters over here. I don't ride real roller coasters. But but how theirs work is you pay a fee to get into the amusement park, and then you have to pay per ride to ride a ride. I said, you do what? And she goes, yeah, you got to pay like, you know, 100 crowns, like $5 to like ride this and that. I said, there is no way Americans just wouldn't even go. If a motherfucker came to you at Kings Island and said, yeah, well, at least when I haven't been to Kings Island in at least a decade. But from what I remember, if you go to Kings Island and they fucked around and said, yeah, bro, you got to pay to ride Top Gun. You got to pay even $3. Motherfuckers be like, fuck you. And they just wouldn't go. Again, like, see, Americans, we have that sense of like, we have that sense of quality, right? And being treated a certain way type of shit. Like in, you know, at a establishment, like we have that. Like we need a certain sense of politeness type of shit, or we gonna have problems, right? Whereas the rest of the world, they really don't do it like we do with that, right? But yeah, they got to pay, man. I was flabbergasted when she told me that. I said, what? We was walking down the street, walking past it. I said, yeah, I'm not going over there. Fuck that. You love my street. Yo, thanks. You love my street. Thanks a lot, man. But no, they don't have, like, Kings Island, no. At least I've never, through Prague, the Cheskalipa, the Kutna Hora, I've never been to Brno. I think there's a motorcycle track in Brno. Well, there is, because I'm into racing. There is a motorcycle track down there. But as far as like machinery type of shit, like no, like they stayed 25 years behind us with like that, with like that technology for like complicated shit, relatively speaking, like, you know, keep structures well made and shit. No, bro, they about, Europe is about 20-25 years behind. Now, don't get me wrong, they will have it in, like, you know, they will have it in richer countries, but okay. Where Europe is 25 years behind North America is in technology for extracurricular shit, right? Like a roller coaster, you know, technology and video games, shit like that. They're 25 years behind us. Now, they'll make a solid house, you know, solid flat, you know, solid shit. But when it comes to like extra, like air conditioning, anything with too many moving parts that's a machine, or if it's too heavy, no, bro, they 25 years behind us at minimum. 25. And I don't mean to bash. I'm just saying the reality. Now, on the flip side, their bread kicks our bread's ass easily. I had a pastry about 2 weeks ago. That was the best. I'm not even joking. That was the best pastry I ever had in my fucking life. And I got it from Lidl, right? And I haven't seen it in there again. It was like the most softest, like just delicate, like almost melt in your mouth pastry. It was just, It was just perfect, and it was like $1.50. It was big too. It wasn't small. It wasn't a donut. It was like almost like a loaf of bread, and it was perfect. They kick our ass with that for sure. Or restaurant food. Oh man, look there. There's Shell gas stations here. Once you get outside of Prague, there's like Shell gas stations that serve like food, right? And I told my girl, I said, look, that quality of food in North America, you would never get that quality of food in North America at a Shell gas station. All right. I mean, it was like legitimately cooked food. Not some shit in a fucking bag, some reheated Starbucks bullshit. No, this was like cooked food. Like you eat that and you gonna feel good afterwards. You know what I mean? Like they kick our ass with so where Europe kicks our ass is with the necessities, right? They kick America's ass with like the quality of the base necessities. They kick our ass with that. Now, where America kicks Europe's ass is the extracurricular above and beyond shit. That's where we kick, like I said, air conditioning, machinery, technology. We kick their ass. Easy. Is no competition. No competition. I think meat quality is better there and egg quality. Yo, I used to get real sick off the eggs when I first came here. Bread, beer, and beef ribs. Yeah. Battlestar Galactica. Oh, they get their beef ribs. Great. They kick America's ass with food. No argument there. America's ass is kicked with quality of food, right? We don't. Like I said, I think America, and I'm trying to like promote North America, but I think America became it became too efficient to the point where everything just became like this, baggage packaged in a box shit. We became too efficient with our food and then ended up like disregarding, nutrition type of thing because we could just eat everything, out of a box type of shit. But they kick our ass with food, the price of food. Kick America. Look, dude, kick our ass. They kick our ass with that. There's no competition. The way their system's set up for health insurance. Okay, now here's the other part about insurance that people and Europeans don't talk about ever, right? This is the part and I had to walk my girl through this. Okay, the reason why health insurance is so expensive in North America and why Europeans think that they're so much better off. Okay. The reason why, and listen to me on this, I'm gonna make myself big because this is an important thing, and I'm not gonna even like just narrow it down to Europe. I'll pretty much say the majority of the rest of the world that's not following that American model of health insurance, right? And I'm not saying either one is better, but this is the deeper area that I want to touch on that nobody ever brings up because they know Americans probably the typical American probably doesn't know, right? So they can just kind of like keep pointing the finger at America because America doesn't know how to argue it, right? Okay, so in America, let's say you get health insurance, car insurance, whatever the fuck, right? You can technically choose to just not pay your car insurance, right? Now, there's consequences. You get an accident, there's consequences. But if you choose to just not pay your car insurance, health insurance, whatever, okay, cool. Whatever. Yeah, I think now you face like a $200 fine in tax season if you didn't have health insurance or something like that. But that's nothing. All right, for a year, that's nothing. Okay, but in America, when you hit 18, you don't have to have health insurance. You can choose to do it or you can choose not to do it, and it's no big deal. That's just it. If you have a car, right? If you bought a car and somebody dropped it off at your house, you don't have to get insurance on that car if it's sitting in your driveway or if it's parked on the street, nothing like that. It's not illegal to keep a car parked without car insurance, right? So Americans, we know this. Now, over here, I learned this when I bought my car. When you buy a car, okay, all cars over here have to be insured, right? If they are not insured, they will track whoever the owner is and charge them an exorbitant monthly rate until you get insurance. The reason why I know that is because it happened to me, because I didn't notice how it worked. When I bought that car, I didn't put insurance on it for about a month because I just didn't drive it, right? I would tell you if I was driving without insurance. I didn't drive it, right? And I got a letter in the mail about 6 months later saying, yeah, you didn't have car insurance for fucking, no, it was like 3 weeks. You didn't have car insurance for 3 weeks. So this is what you got to pay to the state because you didn't have insurance for this period of time. They will track you and charge you an exorbitant rate. When I say exorbitant, they'll essentially charge you for what you'll pay in 6 months. You'll pay it for like 3 weeks because that's what it will. Because okay, for my car insurance, I pay about 100. I just paid my car insurance. I pay about $150 for a total of 6 months, right? Well, for that 3 weeks was $150 that I didn't have insurance. And see, this is what nobody talks about, mostly because either Europeans just don't know or they know that Americans don't know the system, so Americans don't have anything to argue with, so they don't bring it up, right? So the same thing goes with health insurance. In Europe, in most European countries, if not all of them, when you turn 18, you have to pay into that insurance in some way, right? Now, okay, off the state type issue, like the state is going to track you, right? And is monitored. So here's the thing: the reason why insurances, let's say in Europe, is so much cheaper is because it's that communism socialist mentality. When you turn 18, you're supposed to be putting some money into that system. That's why it's so cheaper on the back end. Whereas in North America, you don't have to have it, right? And there's no real punishment if you don't have it, unless you just need it for whatever reason. But there's no serious punishment. So that's also adding to that higher premium in North America, whereas over here it's lower. But on top of that, see the health insurance shit that's coming out of them through their taxes, right? They're paying double what Americans are paying for tax. Okay, roughly if 30%, I would say roughly 50% more to double in taxes, right? Because and that money is going to their health insurance on top of making it damn near illegal for you not to have health insurance. It's socialism. That's what it is, right? But again, most Americans don't know it because they've never had any in-depth, relation. So most Americans don't know how to argue that fight, oh, America's healthcare system sucks. No, it doesn't. In reality, you'd be better off in North America's healthcare system because, again, like I stated, about 2 weeks ago, on the back page, when you get that bill on the back page, they tell you can get out of it. You can get out of whatever payment, at least a major portion of it, but most people don't read. So Americans think they're stuck with it. Right? But yeah, basically everyone is chipping in for healthcare in Europe. That's why it's free. Oh yeah, Mo. Yeah, it's everybody's chipping in. One, everybody's chipping in, and then two, they still end up paying a little bit when they go. Now, it's still not, it's nowhere near expensive as the U.S. because the U.S. you're paying a monthly premium on top of a copay, on top of you might have to pay for medication, whatever the fuck, depending on your plan. I don't know your specific plan, right? But the thing is, like, you can choose to just go without it, right? And for most Americans, for most younger Americans, I would highly advise you just don't get health insurance. I think it's a much better deal. Now, I always had it because either I was under my dad or when I got out of the military, now I have free health insurance for the rest of my life because I got out under good circumstances. But I would, when I looked at the math, I said, look, there's no reason for anybody, unless you have a medical condition in North America, there's no reason for you to even get health insurance. If you read the bill, there's no reason you will be okay. Even if you have an astronomical bill, okay. once you get it written off by going to the hospital, they're gonna break it down to monthly payments, and those monthly payments are gonna be cheaper than your monthly health insurance bill, right? So unless you have a legitimate health condition where you have to keep going back, you have to get a certain medication, something like that. Unless you're in that boat. I would advise most people under the age of 30, 35 to just not have health. You would have a much, it's much cheaper once you know how to work that system. Kevin says, AD, what's the child support laws like in Czech? Okay, so the child support here, men never pay. I've never heard of a man paying over 200, maybe $250 a month for child support. The child support system here is not made for the woman. Okay. Another area where Europe beats North America is they kept track of their women for the most part. I think some areas are starting to grow out of it because they're getting that America feminist shit starting to bleed in over here slowly. But Europe, for the most part, kept a hold of their women in some kind of way, for one reason or another. But they kept track, so they're not. I mean, you'll always have some welfare queens wherever you go, but you're not okay. They're never going to get more than 200. I say max $300 a month. They're not the women here on child support do not get enough to where they can just sit at home, right? It's not. They're not gonna take the house. None of that old goofy shit. No, at least in Czech Republic, no. That doesn't. I've known plenty of men over here with babies with numerous. A friend of mine, he just got divorced, and he had two little girls, with his ex-wife. His ex-wife, cheated and ran off with another dude, and they sold the house. They sold their flat. I don't think she deserved any of that money, but I think he just wanted to give it to her. But he ended up making out with way more money than he ever put into it. He's not gonna pay child support. He's not gonna pay any amount of child support. The single mother friend I had, who lived up in the same village or same small town where he lived at. She has a child with an American guy, and she told me all the tricks that they can pull, that foreigners can pull on Czech women and Czech, because my ex-wife had a baby with a guy who was from the UK, and all you do is just say, "Oh, I don't have any income," right? Now legally, I don't have any income. Legally, all my income is tax free, so I don't have any income, right? Legally speaking, I don't have any income that can be tampered with, right? In this regard. I have literally no income in government's eyes, and there's consequences to that too. I'm not trying to say I'm perfect or anything. There's consequences to that, but in my situation, I have no income, right? But like most men aren't going to have my situation. Most men are going to have to work a job and get a W-2 and all that shit like that, right? So W-2 is a tax form, by the way, for those of you not in America. So what Americans, what foreign guys do, who know the system, they walk up in the courtroom or talk to an attorney on the phone and say, "Look, I don't have any money. I don't have a job." Just tell them that, right? Because the reason why you do that is because it's illegal for two countries to communicate like that directly, right? So if Czech Republic were to contact America, there's a low chance America would reply back, and same vice versa. They can't do that. Or it's not as easy as someone may think it is. It's not that easy. So if you just say you don't have any money, there's nothing the woman can do. Now, do I think that's right if the woman is genuinely struggling? No. Like the guy should, chip in and help out here or there to a respectable amount. I'm not trying to say the guy should just leave the woman up high and dry type of shit, knowing he has a baby with her. I think that's more fucked up. But the child support situation here is nothing like North America. Absolutely nothing like that. Not at all. The women are not. They're not incentivized to destroy, any link of a family type. They're not incentivized like they are. Women in America are incentivized to do it, but here, no. That game wouldn't even work over here. Like I said, you're going to have gold diggers wherever you go. What about alimony in Europe? Even with that, man, I've never heard of anything too wild. Because I had friends and I worked at an international company, and my friends are international, usually with Czech women. Usually it's going to be usually it's going to always be the man from the richer country gets with the woman of the poorer country. So whenever somebody tells you, "Oh yeah, like one of my parents is like Filipino and they're like clearly British," like, okay, it's safe to assume that the father was British and the mother was Filipino. I'm not bashing the Philippines, but it's just the reality of the situation, right? You know what I mean? Like it's like with Kratos, when he grows up, it says, I got an American passport. It would be safe for you to assume that, well, okay, dad must be from America, because an American woman, unless she's fucked up, she ain't trying to go down, right? But with the alimony, I've never heard again. These systems that okay. I'm not so Mo. I'm not trying to say that you're living in fear, but it's that American male living in fear shit. Like I don't have any of that here. I don't have. I have none of that here. Out of everything I've seen, heard, see how their culture moves, walks, and talks. Out of all the experiences I've had with men who's had kids here, if anything, they can't keep track. If the man wants to leave, they can't keep track of him. They don't know where he is because he can just hop to a different country, right? And again, Europe is connected, but they're very segregated. If he fucked around and just disappeared to Austria, for example, nobody knows where he is, right? Can't find him, right? Because my girl said her dad, like, just disappeared. Up to where I used to live in Jessica Lee, but her dad disappeared on her mom, and they was left with a single mom. And they couldn't find him. An hour and a half away. Couldn't find him. U.S. might change divorce laws in the future since younger generation does not have the same work ethic as the prior generations. Word up. So yeah, let's start at least some of this video. I'll stay on for another hour. This is 9. It's 8:57 now. It's getting dark much earlier, man. It's getting dark around like 7. So like summer's officially over out here. Yeah, let's start this video.
Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of Keep It Positive, Sweetie. I'm Krista Renee, and today we are talking about dating in your 40s. And when I think about dating in your 40s, the first song that came to mind was Destiny's Child, Independent Women. All the women independent, throw your hands up at me. And when I think of that, it's because I feel like once women get to their 40s, they're and they're still dating, they're definitely independent. I know for me, I just turned 40 in October, and it was something that clicked. It was something that clicked. It's like literally the day I woke up after my party, I was like, whoa, I had so much clarity on things, and I was very sure about what I wanted to do, how I wanted it, and all those things. But leading up to that, I work in a very vain industry, an industry that's always looking for the youngest and the hottest and the next. And I was worried, like, oh my God,
gotta slow this down.
We also in the industry, we don't tell people our age. So like, even on my invitation, I was very strategic about not putting that I was turning 40 because I just didn't want to put that out there. But everybody found out anyway, so now everybody knows. But when you're dating in your 40s, there's so many factors that come into place. Your biological clock is ticking. Society has put so much stress on, you need to get married by this age, you need to start having children by this age. And my acting career got started very late, and what I thought was late, but then I realized some of the greatest artists there are started in their 40s. So I'm actually not as insecure about that as I was before, but I was worried about that. My biological clock is ticking. I found myself attracting like 20-year-olds. And I was like, what is this? I know I don't look 40. That was the first thing. I don't look like how old I am, but I was attracting young people. And with that, it became a stress because I knew they wanted children. I'm like, okay, these are conversations we have to have. And I always wanted to date somebody that's either...
Okay, yeah, see, this is another main confusion that women have, right? And I touched on this about a week ago. How women get confused that men just want to, any and every man just wants some extra side pussy, right? At minimum, right? You just side put. Now she's got it. She thinks that these 20-year-old men want to marry a 40-year-old woman, right? They seen in the profile she was 40. It wasn't no secret. She's thinking that all these men seriously want her. Right, and most women fall for this. Most women fall for that. They think most men just want to fuck you until they're tired of you. That's the reality of the dating market. Even a lot of guys who think they want a relationship, a lot of times they really don't, man. Like once they fucked her enough times where they tired of her, that's usually where he's not anywhere near as interested as he was before. Right.
My age or a little older, and honestly, they'd already had children because I didn't want that pressure. I don't want the pressure of, okay, he wants children, I can't give him that. Like, what if I pass that stage of my life? And another thing that's really hard about dating in your 40s is, for me, is finding a man that's not intimidated. I've
Nobody's
dated, and then
intimidated.
men see how I'm living, and it's like, oh, I can't keep up with that. And I'm like, I don't need you to keep up. The thing.
Nobody, okay, look, nobody's intimidated by you. Okay, every woman needs to, okay, younger guys, maybe. Maybe a severely inexperienced guy, maybe. Okay. But okay, any man who's had experience is not, I mean, he could be a little shy. I see that. But men, okay, on the overall scale, men are not intimidated by you. All right? Every woman needs to hear this shit. No. Like I said, but he might be nervous to approach, or something like that, or he might, he just doesn't want to make you mad to ruin his chances of getting some pussy out of you real quick. But he's not. No man is intimidated by you. Okay. Like, every woman needs to hear that, get that through her fucking skull. The only guys who will be intimidated are going to be younger guys because they just don't have experience, maybe. Shit like that. Okay, I'm not intimidated at all by this type of woman. At all. There's nothing. No. No. Okay. So, any guy who she's genuinely going to have some interest in, that's going to be like the old tale, any guy who she's going to have interest in is going to be guys who are better than her. Those guys are not going to be intimidated by a you type of woman, because he can go out there and just buy a 25-year-old woman. Because women are always for sale. Look at OnlyFans. Woman is always for sale.
Things I need from you. Of course, I want someone who has something going on for themselves. Of course, I want somebody who can do the things for me that I can do for them, but it doesn't have to always be on the level that I do it, because that's not what I need you for. I need love. I need affection. I need the love languages. And there's 5, and I need all of them. I need someone that is emotionally supportive to me, someone that supports my career. And I've found that a lot of men are not in a space of maturity, or even have the bandwidth to give me that. They're so used to just buying women and, oh, I'll go do this, I'll pay for this, and everything's gonna be okay. No, like, I need you to be my homie, my lover, and my friend. And that's where I feel like, even dating, I just haven't found all 3 of those things in a man.
No, okay, yeah. This is textbook woman idiot right here. There's no other way to put it. I don't mean to call her an idiot, but that's, when it comes to dating, this is textbook idiotic woman, right? She wants a man who's going to be her friend. Yeah. Okay, her saying that is the same thing as a man saying to a woman, okay, if a man had said that about a woman, then she'd be talking about something, oh, he wants me to be his mommy. Right? Here's what's really going on with her specifically, and women who say shit like this. And this is going to hurt. She knows that she knows that she absolutely is not worth it to be a partner or a spouse to, right? She knows that herself, right? The genuine version of her is so far away from being a genuinely decent person to just be around and hang around with, that instead of having to face it, she's going to try to say that she has these higher standards or requirements. That way you can't say that she failed. She'll just say, oh, the men failed. Right? Because if she was so fucking awesome, if she was so fucking great, she wouldn't have these problems. She would have had a man. Right? Do the math. Think. She if she was so fucking amazing, she's so awesome, she's a good friend, a partner, a confidant, and romantic, and if she's so amazing, well, there should be an amazing guy with her. But she's not. That's why she's alone. And she's 40 at that. She's not bad looking for 40. I'll give her that. But she's alone. Her standards are too high, are too damn high. For one reason or another. But she's not alone. This is what women like her end up in, right? Because here's the thing. Most women are not good at very much of anything in life. Most women you're going to come across in life will not be good at the majority of things that they do. Outside of just sitting there existing as a woman and hoping somebody cares about her emotions. Outside of that, she's not going to do anything else very well. It's just, and I don't mean to bash women. That's just the reality of it, right? When you been around enough women to see it and read through the bullshit, it's easy to find. It's easy to see it, right? So many women will say fuck it once they figured out their time's up, and they'll just hop on, you know, whatever last man they can find, or figure like this is probably gonna be the best it gets with whatever guy. So they'll say fuck it and tap out. But then you have women like this who okay, there's men right now who would marry this woman just because she just looks like that. No other reason. Just because she's a woman and she just exists. This is the entitlement women have in a dating market. There is always going to be some lonely chump who will marry her and put her in a house just because she is a woman. That's the entitlement of woman. A woman's baseline of existence, every morning she wakes up, she knows she can get her belly full and she knows she can have a place to sleep. That's what life is to be a woman. Every day she wakes up, she knows. The woman's biggest conundrum is, does she feel comfortable with this guy or not? Her life's on easy mode, dude. Just because she's a woman, that's her baseline, right? You can't take that away from her. No matter how bad she fucks up, somebody will talk themselves into saving and being Captain Save-A-Ho, and they'll yeah. Her biggest issue is the price tag that she's put on herself, and is she comfortable or not with this guy or that guy. There's always a guy. There's always at least 5 guys hovering around her pussy. Always. Every woman you see in your life, from that old ugly bitch working in the gas station, to the bitch working at Starbucks, to the bitch working at Macy's, to the bitch working at an Amazon warehouse. All them bitches got 5 men hovering around waiting to take care of her. She just got to regulate, do I feel comfortable or not? Women try to talk about men have it hard. Yeah. I mean, some women try to talk about women have it hard. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's consequences to that too, but no, absolutely, there's no comparison. Let's keep this.
When I think about some of my like worst and best dates, one of the best dates I ever had, I was living in DC, and this was when The Devil Wears Prada was out. Anybody who knows me knows I can quote The Devil Wears Prada from top to bottom. Like, I love that movie. And I had never taken a train ride before, so we took the train from DC to New York. He took me to Nobu 57. And this is like when Nobu was like just starting to pop, because he was in every rap song. So like it was like, oh, we want to Nobu tonight. So we went to Nobu, and then the next day he took me to see The Color Purple. After the play, he took me to Smith and Lewinsky, which was the restaurant that Meryl Streep had Anne Hathaway go get her lunch. And when she brought it, she goes, oh, I don't need it. I'm going to have lunch with Demarchier. And she was like, pissed. So she takes the plate and throws it in the sink, and the plate cracks and all that stuff. So we went there. We got the exact same steak that Meryl Streep had ordered, or that Anne Hathaway had ordered from Meryl Streep. And I was like, this is the most thoughtful Valentine's Day I've ever had, and probably still one of the most thoughtful weekends. So it's like really planned out for me. And then we got back home. He bought me my first Louis Vuitton bag, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is great. And then I found out that he was a scammer. Yeah. They always say when things seem to be too good to be true, they probably are. And I was like, Lord, how does this man work for the government and he's scamming? He had this man, and I don't want to be stereotypical, because if you live in Atlanta, we know there's a lot of scammers. And most of them are of African descent. So he had this African friend who he's like, he owed him some money. And he's like, hey, babe, can whatever his name was, put this money in your account? So I was like, sure. So I wake up one morning and there's like, I wake up and there's like a -$1 million on my bank statement. I'm like, a -$1 million? I'm like, first of all, I'm working for the government. I know I ain't making no $1 million. I'm like, and who pulled out $1 million? And why is it saying negative? So I called the bank and they were like, oh, that's because there's a fraud alert on your account because the money that was deposited the other day was actually stolen. What? Y'all, I cannot make this shit up. So like, oh my
Well,
lunch break.
yeah, and women like her are. She's getting ready to experience a lot more of that. She's getting ready to experience a lot more of that. That's all women in her demographic are going to be good for, right? You too old to start a family. Your standards are way too high. He bought you a Louis Vuitton. Look, okay. I wonder if the thoughts ever crossed her mind to just sit down and just hang out with a dude. Just sit down. You ain't got to do nothing. Just sit down and just look at just look at a view from a mountain or from a flat or whatever the fuck. Just sit down in a park and just exist, right? And actually talk and hang out. Now you ain't got to buy a Louis Vuitton bag. Like you see, this is why she's alone. And it's not gonna. She gonna be like Lisa Ann with the watch. Well, I got a neat watch, and she's sitting up alone. You just exist. But I'll answer that. The reason why women like her and Lisa Ann do not want to exist, they don't want to just sit down. Okay, see, the reason why women like her and Lisa Ann and they're older, they're not the worst looking women, but they'll always be alone. The reason why these women do not, and here's to be fair, most women do not want to have to sit down and exist, right? They don't want to. Most women, unless you orchestrate it to where it has to be done and you lead the conversation. Most, if not all women do not want to sit down and just exist, right? The reason why is because, like I said with last week, every single woman on earth is walking around with imposter syndrome, right? She's wearing this costume of woman. She's invested in makeup, nails, hair, shoes, pants to make her butt look bigger, whatever the fuck, right? Right? All of this is done as a distraction, so you don't focus on her as an individual human. Right? And see, the reason why they do it is because every woman knows if you had to genuinely sit down and truly just hear her thoughts, her genuine thoughts, she's disgusting. Right? See, this is why they always got to be entertained with something flashy, something loud, something blinking. That's a big reason why they have to do it. The other reason is that they mentally don't grow up from being an infant. Right? But the other part of it is, see, she doesn't want to have this, so she'll blame it on being bored or anything like that. Anything to try to pin on a man to get your attention off the fact that she cannot come up with a genuine, desirable conversation outside of how picky she can be and how it was the man's fault. She can't do it. This woman cannot do it. I will guarantee that's why she's still alone at 40. She can't do it. Most women can't do it, right? Because we've all heard that line, oh, well, the man doesn't know how to come up with conversation. Every man's heard that line at some point in his life. You're boring, you didn't come up with a conversation. See, what that translates into is the woman doesn't know how to make a conversation. She's afraid that you're going to see it and know it, so she'd rather hurry up and pin it on you. He's boring, he's this. No, bitch, you're boring. You're undesirable. The only thing that's keeping you desirable, women on a whole, is the fact that you're wearing that costume of woman. That distracting costume of woman. Right? You're the boring one. You're the one who's not interesting. You're the basic one who's doing basic shit. If you're not doing basic shit, then you're sucking dick for it. Pick one. Right? Pick one. The most funniest thing I see walking around Prague, right, is when you see these young, like 22, 23-year-old girls with like the new Apple Watch and a new iPhone, and and they're Czech, and they live in Czech Republic. Like, dude, like everybody know you work at the smoothie shop in the mall. So whose dick are you sucking, or mommy and daddy bought it for you? type shit, right? Like women don't like that next level thought. They don't get it, dude. Like they're just concerned with with trying to do whatever they can to try to capture a better man than they are. Well, in reality, it's every man's better, from her perspective.
I had to go to Bank of America and put out an affidavit to let them know it wasn't me. And they're like, no, we know it wasn't you. And
She's gonna get hit with a lot more of this at her age. This is gonna happen. This scam. That's all she's gonna be good for. She's gonna be good for side pussy, being seen with a woman with a woman in public, and scammed. She's gonna start hitting this a lot more. To be honest with you, that's what my stepsister. That's what happened to her. She went through the same shit. And to be fair with you, like I have a lot of respect for my stepsister because my stepsister was always very kind to me. She was always very. She told me what she was doing as a not even a teenage girl with grown men. She'd tell you everything, right? And she was an attractive woman. She's an attractive woman. She started because she's on the internet right now. You can just Google her name. She was doing a YouTube channel and all this other shit under her real name. So she never got like fat or anything. But she did the same thing. She was one of these types of women. Now again, she didn't get fat. She's more attractive than this woman. And myself, she knew how to cook. I guess she did know how to cook a little bit. She not a little bit. I say she knew how to cook, right? But she did the same thing. She was getting scammed. She was stealing money from her mom to give to the scammer. And they were sleep. I mean, there was one story where like she was sleeping and she got with some guy. And this was when her and her boyfriend, the drug dealer, had broke up for a while, and she got with some guy, and they were like living in a house. Well, come to find out, the house was a model house, and the guy stole the keys. And on top of that, the guy talked her into stealing $10,000 from her own mother to give to him for an investment, and the guy just disappeared, like was gone, right? Like it's. But yeah, this woman is it's gonna be a lot more of that, because her standards are so high. The only thing that will fit those are either complete fools or scammers. A 40-year-old woman who's so established, that's the only thing that's gonna appeal to her. Either it's gonna be a man who's a complete fool, and there are fools around. Or more likely it's going to be because typically a fool who's going to be that into her, he's going to come off as a beta chump to her, so she's not going to respect him. So the only thing that's actually going to make it through that filter in reality is going to be scammers. That's going to be about the only thing. But here's the thing, she knows she's 40, right? And she knows she's older. It's no secret that men want young, attractive women. It's no secret. You can try to shame men for it. That's cool, but that's what it is. That's what the game is, right? So she knows every woman as they get older, they know that they don't deserve a certain area of man. Though that area of man is now reserved for what she used to be. Every woman knows this, right? So let's say George Clooney himself came up and talked to her and was being genuinely cool, nice with it. George Clooney, Idris Elba, whoever, right? Whatever guy you want to use as that example, as that placeholder. Let's say Idris Elba came up to her and was genuinely into her, right? A large percentage of these women would end up self-sabotaging it because she knows that Idris needs to be with something a little better than her. She's not going to admit it. But a lot of women will. A lot of women will do that. They'll try to play along for a while, and she'll try to walk around and try to, play the act all up, and she'll try to she'll try to keep that act up, but she'll get tired of it and give it time. Give it time. And she'll self-sabotage it because she knows she's not worth that.
And but I couldn't have an account with them for like years because of that. It was crazy. So you got to be careful when you date and get to know people, because it was real good and then it got real bad. Let's see, another bad date. I want to tell y'all some funny
You
stories.
don't have a lot of
And
them.
I'm being honest with you guys, I haven't really like been in a serious relationship since 2017. So the dating has been very far and few between. But I dated this other guy who was a little older, and one of my biggest pet peeves is someone who doesn't tip well. Judge me if you want to, but I feel like when there are people in hospitality, you should take care of them, especially if they look out for you, and especially if I'm taking to a, because I actually set the reservation up because that was another thing. I was always having to set up everything. I'm like, bro, dog, like, can you do anything? Like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand that about men who, like, don't, it's like the courtship has been lost. Like, how men used to, like, send flowers. We're going to talk about that, too. How men used to send flowers, take time in advance to set up, hey, I want to take you out on this day. They wait until the day of, like, oh, what are you doing tonight? There's no initiative anymore. We're going to talk about
Well, yeah,
flowers
for a 40-year-old woman, no. Anymore, yeah. Where did all the good men go? For a 40-year-old woman, no. There's not going to be, no. Because he'd be better off sitting down somewhere playing Hades or some shit. Is it, you mean, like, or does he be better? Like, he'd be better off just buying a hooker and not have to deal with you and deal with hoping you like him and all that old goofy shit. Oh, she gonna like me because I didn't tip well at a place where she made the reservation at? Like, well, no, you're not worth that. Is he? I really hope that media gets to a point where it's openly accepted that, like, that, and it's openly accepted that women lose their value as they age, right? Because motherfuckers are trying to fight it too much now. They're trying to act like, oh no, the older the berry, the sweeter the juice. Motherfuckers, they keep trying to come up with these excuses. I mean, like, it's a tale as old as time. When you get older, it's gonna start. Like, you're not gonna be what you were when you were 20. And then looking at her, I get to look. When she was 20, she was probably one of the top picks when she was 20. You just 40 now, right? You just too old, right? There's not gonna be that same initiative for a 40-year-old woman. You done went down too much, especially with a 40-year-old woman trying to walk around expecting it. Now, if she was just a cool woman, and you know, she was just a genuinely cool, like, for example, a single mother friend of mine, like, she's just a cool woman. So yeah, if I was single and I was, like, bored, I'd hang out with her, you know, because I know her daughter. I think me and her daughter, we get along pretty fucking well. But yeah, but where it's going is she's cool. So yeah, I wouldn't mind, like, you know, setting up a place for us to meet kind of thing, you know, because she's just a cool, but because she's not walking around expecting it, right? She has other issues. She's an Elaine Bennis, the friend of mine up in Jessica Lee, but she's an Elaine Bennis. She's one of those women who she's just not going, she's an Elaine from Seinfeld. She's never going to have, she's just not that type of woman, right? And I think she knows it. It's not like an elephant in the room kind of thing. Like, she knows it. I'm like the Jerry to her Elaine kind of thing. But no, for a 40-year-old woman, those days are gone. Finding men that's gonna jump through hoops for you and all like that, you know, or make initiative or tip well at a place that you reserved. Look, well, how come you didn't tip? See, and here's a deeper part about morals that where I touched on last week. See, women do not have woman's morals is the woman's morals is to find a man who can protect her. That's all her morals. She doesn't care about religion, none of that other shit. All that's goofy shit to a woman, right? Okay, because if her morals was to tip well, why didn't she tip well? See, the moral is not. Here's the thing. See, her moral in this is not in tipping, because she's doing so fucking great in life. She works for the government and she's successful and blah, blah, blah. She's doing so fucking. How come she didn't tip? How come if it was her moral understanding, then why didn't she? Well, maybe she did. I'll give her that. Maybe I'm jumping the boat. I doubt it, but maybe I'm jumping the boat. Maybe she did tip. I highly doubt it. But why didn't she tip? Right? So if she tipped, then I'll give her that. If she tipped, I'll give her that. I highly doubt she did, but I'll give her that. Let's continue.
So I love flowers. Anybody who knows me knows that I love flowers. Do you know I dated this guy and he literally looked me in my face and said, "You know why I haven't gotten you flowers?" And I was like, "Why?" I do want to know. Actually, yes. And he said because you want them.
Yeah, that's wrong.
What sense does that make? He said, but when I do it, he said it's gonna be so elaborate, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh. And I was like, you're making no sense. If you know this is a part of my love language and this is something that makes me happy, do it. Because I do that for you. And that's another thing, understanding like how people need to be loved, because the way I love may not be the way my man needs to be loved. So understanding that, hey, okay, Crystal's love language is all the love languages. So let me make sure at some point I'm touching her. Let me make sure at some point I give her affection. Make sure at some point I give her affirmations. I give her gifts. I do acts of service for her. And I feel like that's all encompassing a relationship. And I'm not saying do all those things every single day, but like just consistently let me know, hey babe, I see you, I hear you, and I feel you. And when he did that, I was just like, okay, this is crazy. I was like, you're not my guy. You can go. And the other guy who didn't tip well, it was just like, if you don't treat, I feel like you don't treat, the way you treat like waiters and people who are there to serve you, if you don't treat them right, that's an immediately dismissal for me.
Okay, so here. So let's deduce this nonsense right. So she ends that off by saying she pays attention to how you treat customer service and all that, which I agree that's plausible, right? That's I don't know if I use that correctly, but I can agree with that. I can agree with that situation. With that okay, again, that's not the reality. She just phrased it like that because she knows men want to hear that sense of admirability. Oh yeah, you should treat customers. She doesn't care about that. She wants to see that man spend some money because she figures she can hop on with it. That's all that was about. Okay, but with that to the side, she wants to treat people nice and fair and all this shit like that. But just before that, she claims that she dumped the guy because the guy didn't know the 5 love languages, some old dingbat reject woman bullshit. That women, if you want to sell something to a woman, just make it sound catchy, and they'll fucking buy dog shit wrapped in gold, dude. They don't care. She judges a guy who did not randomly read some goofy fucking what is your 5 love language and didn't. Okay, I'm sure she didn't sit down and just genuinely talk to the guy. She's expecting another guy to already know what dingbat material she's been reading, and see, her standards are just through the fucking roof. They're too fucking high. She deserves to be alone. This woman deserves to be alone. Completely deserve. Talk to people. Try to understand where they are coming from. Right? Maybe he didn't do whatever fucking love language or whatever because he watched his wife die in a car crash. Did you think about that? Maybe he watched his wife die of lung cancer and he's mentally off, but he don't want to bring it up. Did you think about that? No. All you thought about was some dumb bitch Devil Wears Prada bullshit, and you're trying to hold up complete strangers to this delusion that you've created in your own fucking head. That's why you sit on the couch alone. Right? And I don't mean this to hurt your feelings. I mean this as a reality check. You're a guy, this is dingbat shit. Right? Devil wear. This is dingbat shit. Maybe he really liked you. Maybe who knows? His aunt could have just, become paralyzed or gone blind. You don't know. You're judging this off of how much money he spent and did he communicate in your love language when you. What? Get this. See, people like you deserve to be alone. This is why you're alone. See, this is why women like you can't stay in relationships and can't get it, because you're so fucked up and you keep trying to blame other men for your fucked up shit. Like Kevin Samuels says, see, this is why and he used to focus on black women. I'm gonna say all women do it at some point. It's not just black women. But Kevin Samuels used to say, like, this is why he fucked up. This is why she's sitting on that couch alone with a neat watch. These are people, right? This motherfucker. Look, I'm not reading some 5 love language shit, right? I'm not. There's a very low chance I'm going to, unless I just do it for my own personal study, just my own personal studies. I'm not. No. You know why? Because I know how to actually talk to people, and I'm not expecting anybody to read my fucking mind. You're 40. Grow up. At 30, you should start growing out of this shit. You're 40. Expecting men to read your mind, buy you Louis Vuitton bags, you too goddamn old. See, Nicole Scherzinger gets away with this because Nicole Scherzinger was parading her little tutti frutti butt around on stage, and Nicole Scherzinger done aged out of that shit. You ain't Nicole Scherzinger. You are a hoe that works at the fucking government office, who walks in the office trying to walk around act like a white woman. Yeah, that's what you. Nicole Scherzinger is out your league, and she done aged out this shit. You too old. You are 40. Let it go, or the men gonna keep letting you go. I mean, it's really shocking, the growth rate of the typical woman's brain. It's really shocking. Men can be behind too. I'm not going to act like men are the perfect angels. Men can be behind, right? Definitely. Men can be behind. But when it comes to women in this entitlement shit, given her value, oh my God, it really gets to just sick levels. It really, okay, and again, the only thing that's gonna validate this shit, right? The only thing that's validating this is because, see, just because she is literally the physical embodiment of woman, she can just hop on Tinder and get 5 matches in an hour. So she'll convince herself that, no, AD's wrong, I'm right, because I can still get matches on and don't mind dating. You're a woman, you're going to get that. But see, it's that logic is what's continuously damaging women by the day. Knowing her worth and value, your worth is getting pumped and dumped. Make no mistake about it. You're 40. Let it go. Louis Vuitton bag. Look, the only women that should be walking around excited about a Louis Vuitton bag is young women and women who are already married and their husbands buying them that bag. Okay, you, some random hoe at a bar or on Tinder, getting a Louis Vuitton bag out of somebody, okay, that's not anything to be proud of. But I get it. Your identity's so lost, it's so confused. You have to put it into material objects to further deflect the fact that you're just not a likable person. I get that. I truly do. I get that. But you're too goddamn old. It's not cute. It's not funny. You're too fucking old. And I'm only 6 minutes through. Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, Nick, I agree. Yeah, the men at the office, yeah. Because she's a woman, dude. She's going to get that. The men at the office, random guys, they're going to hype her head up. They're going to get to looking at her, and she'll go, well, I still got it. And she's 40. Yeah. Or she'll online dating or whatever the fuck she's into. Wherever there's going to be extra men at, they're always going to look for extra side pussy. And she's confused. Like all women are. They're confused in this shit. Well, most women. Some women do get it. But not very many. White women. Oh, Kevin Sam was also called out white women's BS. And I never seen that. Yo, what's up, Cosmic? Could we email you? Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. You can email me questions. She probably used to be a waiter. That's the only reason why she said that women are not righteous. Yeah.
Even when I think about like the dating process as a 40-year-old woman, it's not the same as it was in my 30s. Like,
Of course
just
not.
don't have time. You know, I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Like, I'm not applying the pressure like day one unless I really, really like you. I'm like, is you my husband or my cousin? Because I need to know, what are we doing? Apply the pressure because I like you. But I do like to take time to get to know my person. I am big on referrals. I really do not like meeting strangers. I want to know somebody that knows you to vet.
Okay, see, here's the thing. See, the more she's getting ready to talk, the worse it's getting ready to get. The more she's going to talk, this is going to get worse and worse and worse. To Lisa Ann's status. Because she's got friends, she's got family, and they all know men. And she's been referred to men. And okay, see, her family knows all this is true. Whether it's her parents or her sisters or her cousins, she's the one who can't keep a man. She's Pam from Martin. Right? Her family members know. They just ain't telling her because they don't want to hurt her feelings. You're being referred men, all this shit, and you can't keep one. How many men has this woman been referred? How many colleagues? How many random hookups, Tinder? How many men just happen to not work? See, from the woman mentality, see, she thinks she's bettering her case of being picky. Like, no, like, you're not desirable. That's everything that's getting ready to come out of her mouth is getting ready to is fuel it. It's getting ready to get worse.
Like, to vouch for you and say, okay, yeah, this person isn't crazy, or this is his past, this is what he's been through. I need a little background check on you.
And none of
Just
them
when
were
you
ever
feel
good
safe. And
enough.
then even with my success, like, I have to be more strategic about the type of men that I even am around. You know, I have to make sure that you just don't have a lot going on, that you're here for the right reasons. Even like the dating phase. Like, before, I could go a year and still be wondering, like, what are we doing? Now, after a few months, like, okay, we know each other. Like, what are we doing? Like, are we gonna make this thing official? You trying to put a ring on it? You trying to be my life partner? What? But it's definitely a situation where I'm open. I used to like to stay in the house all the time. And I was like, Krista, you're never gonna find a man if you don't leave the house. But y'all, even just getting ready, putting the makeup on, doing your hair, finding an outfit, just going to shop for an outfit because you feel like I don't have nothing to wear. And then you get out there and nobody approaches you. What am I doing? I find myself coming home, I done spent $200 on a meal and drinks and still ain't got no action. What's going on?
Because you dumb as hell. You spent $200 on a meal. You dumb as hell. Because you stupid. You work at a government job and you spent $200 on a meal. Because you dumb as hell. That's why.
Approaches you. What am I doing? I find myself coming home, I done spent $200 on a meal and drinks and still ain't got no action.
Yeah, because you're not desirable. That's why. You're not desirable to the men you want. That's why. You spent $200. Okay.
What's going on? I was still trying to figure it out. And people are like, men don't approach you. I'm like, no, nobody approaches me. I'm like, I don't know if I look like I'm mean, or some people say I'm unapproachable. Other people say, oh, you look like you already got a man. I'm like, I don't. I don't know if I need to just put a sign on back. I'm single, ready to mingle.
No, we know. I'm gonna tell you exactly how we know you ain't got no man, because you're 40 years old and you got all that makeup caked on. That's how I can tell. Okay, and I'm being 100% honest. If I were to see a woman like her in a bar, I would immediately know that she doesn't have a man. If she does have a man, she's like she's a hoe. All right, and I mean that with all respect. Okay, if I were to see a woman like that in a bar with caked on makeup and all this, I would think she's a hooker. Or she's on some first date or first couple dates with her. I would not think she was married or anything like that. Not with that much makeup on, I wouldn't. Not at all. We know you ain't got no man. Trust me, no, we know. We know you don't have a man. There's no questioning that. By the time you see older women walking around trying to, you know, they favorite movies is The Devil Loves Prada and all that shit. But by the time you see women with this whole energy and vibe of this shit like this, right? You already know they don't have a man. That's common knowledge, right? I'm not shocked. Actually, that's what I initially thought was that you. My initial thoughts were that.
And maybe somebody will holler. But like I try to like be more conscious of like smiling at people, starting conversation or saying hello, just so the guy can know like, okay, she's interested, or that was an invitation to have a further conversation. But y'all don't get it. Like, I don't understand. Help me. I need somebody to respond to this and tell me what I need to do, because your girl didn't tell. And one of the biggest things for me is being intentional. And I let people know straight out the gate. Listen, if you're not intentional, I'm in a very intentional space in my life right now. I know what I want. I know what I'm ready for. I know what I bring to the table. So when you come into this table, I need you to understand, ain't no half-assing. Ain't no like, oh, I'll call her when I want to call her. I'm going to carry her any kind of way. Certain times, like in my 30s, I feel like I had a little more grace, or I feel like I put up with more because I wasn't as secure in who I am.
Yeah, you were starting, that wall process was hitting. Now, you still look good for 40, I give her that. But yeah, 30s, that's when all that started to happen. Men started to stop caring anywhere near as much. You were starting to slowly get treated worse and worse and worse, and now here you are at 40, still alone.
But now, I'm not putting up with that. I need you to come in knowing what you want and saying, hey, I see you, and I know you're a good woman. I know I need to take this serious. Even if it's just as a friendship, I need to come in here knowing that I need to get to know you. I'm not playing with you, and where it goes is where it goes. I may have even put up with like cheating. You know what I'm saying? I dealt with that, and I would forgive and be like, it's okay, because I struggled with, and I still kind of struggle with this. I'm still trying to figure this part out. How we put marital expectations on dating. So we're not married, but I want you to be monogamous, exclusive. I want you to treat me like your wife, and I want all the rewards of a husband, and we're not married. So I had a friend of mine, she was like, I just believe that you're single until you're married. Until you're married, like, it's not under God, but we know at some point it has to be like, okay, this is the decision, this is what I'm doing. And I would put up with a lot of things because I was like, well, like, he's got to get out of the system, and I would make excuses for him. And then I would also try to justify, well, yeah, we're not married, so technically you can do what you want to do until we get married. But at what point does a man say, you know what, I'm ready to go ahead and start practicing being a husband, because I know you're going to want me to cook, you're going to want me to clean, keep the house right, keep my body right, you're going to want me to put it down right, you're going to want me to carry myself in a certain way, and all that encompasses a wife. And I feel like that was something that I dealt with that I probably wouldn't deal with in my 40s. Something else I dealt with in my 40s was inconsistency. I mean, in my 30s, something I dealt with in my 30s was inconsistency. I would allow a man to just kind of come in and come out. I had a lot of relationships where it was off and on. And whenever he called back, we were back on. We'd fade out, and then I would do what I was doing. He would do what he was doing. Then he'd call and say he missed me, and it was like, okay, we back, I had a guy that I did that with for like 6 years. He was like off and on, off and on. And to this day, it's funny. They're like, that's your husband. I'm like, no. They was like, well, he still ain't with nobody. And I'm like, yeah, because he got issues. He has commitment issues. And
so, yeah, that comes back to where, because I knew that math was not going to math properly. So she said earlier, she said she was 37 the last time she was in a serious relationship. Right? Did she remember at the beginning of this video? She said last time she was in a serious relationship, she was I think 37, right? And she was trying to downplay it like she hadn't been around the block and all that shit like that, right? Well, she just brings up that she was in an off and on again relationship for 6 years by some dude who was pretty much just pump and dumping her, used her as a reliable backup pump and dump for 6 years, dude. 6 years. So let's be all the way. Let's be generous. Let's say that 6 year period was from the ages of 27 to 33. Or we could say from 30 to 36. And when she got in that good relationship at 37, who knows? But that's 6 years of being a pump and dump, dude. And how many other men was like trying to get with her and all that, and she, you know, roasted him or whatever the fuck, right? Like, you can't feel sorry for him, man. You can't feel sorry for this. You can't feel sorry for this. There was always some dude who was it's always a guy who's trying to be nice and, you know, do this, that, and, you know, and be always. That's how it always goes. It's always the nice guys that end up walking away all heartbroken and all that. And it's always the guys who don't care that do this type of shit for 6 years. Wear back on and wear back off. Yeah. She calls them we. Wear back on. We're back. Yeah, this is a fucking joke. This is a fucking joke. This is just a fucking joke, dude. Just women like her she deserves to be alone. She deserves to drink wine and cry herself to sleep. And yeah, she deserves this. She's now in the position the average simp men are in. Women have compassion for these types of men. They don't have any compassion for these guys. Yeah. Yeah, this woman's done, dude. She doesn't. The thing is, she's not an ugly woman. She looks good, but she's 40. It's just too late. She's missed it. There's no reason for a guy to seriously get with you. You know what I mean? Like, to seriously stay there too long, right? Because I got a neighbor. I ain't gonna put all her business out in the street, but it fits this a bit well, right? Because I was telling my girl about this scenario. Because they all can speak Czech together. Only her husband speaks English, but she's the girl I'm going to talk about. She only speaks Czech. So this girl, one of my neighbors, she was in a relationship with this guy for like 6 or 7 years. He's a real nice guy too. I think he's great. He can speak English, but they end up breaking up, right? 7 years later, and now she's early 30s, right? And I was telling my girl, like, yo, like, okay, when they first broke up, I knew something was awkward because she started like weirdly being like way over nice and like flirt. Like, she was just doing stuff she never did before, like would smile all the time and try to, you know, be flirty and want to have conversations, even though I have no idea what she's saying. Way out of character shit for her, right? And I mean, she's like flirting with like every guy that comes by. She's like, you know, doing this type of shit and, you know, and trying to lock eye contact and all this flirty shit, right? And I was telling my girl, I said, yo, like, she doesn't know, she still thinks she's 23, right? That woman is now in her 30s, and she's going to face a whole different dating market than she did when she was 23, but she still thinks she's 23, right? And she's a cute girl. She's a cute girl, but she's 30, 31, 30. She's in her early 30s, somewhere like that. And she got to compete with them young Czech bitches. And she don't realize, like, she wants to hurry up and have a baby and all this shit. She's like in her early 30s and I told her to tell her, like whatever you do not go out there and have a baby too quick. All right. And try to do, and because the number one thing every woman thinks, okay, every woman before she has a kid, if you try to tell her don't have babies, like she'll get mad because she takes it as she can't do it, right? Because she wants to feel like she's important and can do everything. But I'm telling you, dude, you do not. I was trying to tell my girl to tell her she does not want to be a single mother, right? She does not. She thinks she can handle that shit. She don't want to do that. She don't want to do that. That's a horrible mistake. Awful mistake. To intentionally become a single mother like that, right? Well, there was more to the story. I'm not gonna put all her business out there, but she was going to intentionally become a single mother. And I said, no, don't do that. That's the worst decision you can. You be better off going out there doing heroin than doing that. Look, I'd rather go find you some heroin. You mean? I'll find you some fentanyl. You could do some fentanyl real quick, but don't become a single mother, dude. Don't intentionally become a single mother on top of that. Yeah, that's gonna be one of the worst decisions you make in your life. When it come to babies, yeah, see, you don't be seeing babies when they be at home and comfortable. See, when you see babies out in the street, see, they be all excited. See, when you see small children and babies out like in the street or in the world, see, you not seeing that real baby, bro. I know because I have a baby. Like when that motherfucker is at home, like that motherfucker is the complete other. See, when you see a small child in public, that motherfucker is rare that they're actually gonna be bad because they're more caught up with just seeing new shit, right? So they gonna be a bit more calm and all that. You get this motherfucker home, run around all goddamn day. I don't have a problem with it, but the thing is, I think most women don't really understand, and most people won't until they go through it. I had like a small stepchildren, but they were never like newborn small. But I knew what it was, right? So with these young girls, like they want to have a baby, and they don't want to hear that they can't do it, so they want to prove you wrong and all that shit. Yeah, no, bro, that's a bad decision. 80. Do you think eye contact is important when talking to women? Yes. But I would also say it depends on the swagger of the man too, right? Because depending on the swagger of the man, it could come off as like desperate. So it depends on the swagger of that man and like how he holds himself, right? Because if he does it wrong, it comes off as desperate. But if he does it right, it comes off as just confident, right? Without the desperate side. But here's the thing with women, like you never really know from their side of it, because like some women just don't know how to make eye contact up front because they're just too shy. Other women, they need it. It really is just a gamble, to be honest. The whole thing is just a gamble to try to tell if a woman likes you or not. Because there was girls when I still remember this one story. What happened when I was a kid, man. A friend of mine's older sister. I remember I thought she always hated me, man, because she would never look at me. She would never look at me. She always was like weirdly low key mean to me when we were kids, right? Well, me and her were the same age. I used to play with her younger brother. He was maybe like 2 years younger than me or something like that. And I remember, and everybody had a crush on his older sister. She was just that girl in the neighborhood, right? I mean, she wasn't. Looking back, she wasn't anything special, but back then, when you live in a neighborhood, like, a 6 back then would be a 10 if that's all you know, right? She was above a 6. I give her above a 6 at that time. Anyway, I remember one time I walked down to go get him so we can go play basketball. Well, the way that his sister was sitting on the stairs, she didn't see me walk up, right? And she was talking to one of her friends, and her friend's name was Tamara. I'll say her because the girl on top of her name is very specific. Like it's too specific of a name. I'm not gonna say her name, but her friend's name was Tamara, and Tamara was always real cool. She was nice. She was a pretty girl, but she was cool though, right? She was always like friendly. I mean, of course anybody would have liked side pussy out of Tamara, but it wasn't really about getting pussy. She was just like a nice, cool girl. Like, you just didn't have any problems with Tamara. There was never any doubt. You knew where you stood with her. As long as you're respectful to her, she was respectful to you, and you just kept moving, right? So I remember I walked down the hill. Actually, well, I would show you on Google Maps, but I feel like that's crossing too many boundaries. I walked down the hill to their house, and again, the friend of my sister, the one I thought hated me, she couldn't see me. Her back was turned. She was talking to Tamara, and I walked all the way up to the house, and so I was behind the guy's sister, who doesn't like me, who I thought didn't like me, like at all, not like on a sexual level, just like at all. I thought she just despised me for some reason. Well, I walk up there, and Tamara she pats her on the shoulder and points behind her, and she looks behind, and it's me, and she just freezes up. And then Tamara goes, what? But you literally just said you like Wendell. Why are you acting like this? And she wouldn't say a word. She just completely freezed up, dude. Like completely freezed up. And at that point, I low key kind of felt sorry for her because she was clearly just like way too shy to ever say, or maybe she didn't want people knowing that she liked me, or I don't know what it was, but she would always do like these weird little mean things to me, like just little shit, a bunch of little shit. And like she was just always mean. But looking back, I guess she was just super shocked. It was the way I caught it. Like Tamara was telling the truth. Like she really liked me, kind of thing, because she was genuinely like shocked about it. Like, why are you acting like this? Like you literally just said you like, and she could, because Tamara, the way she said it, she was like whispering it, like as if she just seen a ghost. Like, you just said you. Why are you acting like? And the girl just froze. Like, wouldn't say a word, nothing. Like, and the few times I tried to talk to her, she would just ignore me before that. Like, she was just awkward. See, the point I'm trying to get is when it comes to women, dude, they're just so cowardly and awkward. Like, there's no way to know, if she. Another example, the girl I told you about where I fucked her boyfriend's mom before I ever met her. I started thinking about a story and I forgot where I was going with it. But it was the same. Most of the women, most of the girls who end up liking me, like at first I thought they just really didn't like me. I forgot where I was going with that story. Because I was thinking about that whole situation of fucking the boyfriend's mom, like years before I had ever met the younger girl, the girl who I ended up living with. But I forgot where I was going to go with that. But you just never know, man. Until they just there's just no way to know. How do you let a woman know you don't need her without actually telling her? It's just more your actions, really. Because if you say you don't need her, then it's like you must be thinking about her too much, so you really need her, kind of thing. It's just like, hey, your actions is like just letting her go, not really, putting too much into her, no matter what, kind of thing. Shit like that. It's more in the actions instead of like actually saying it. Because there's certain things you just do and you just don't do. Like, for example, it was last week the topic came up of asking if the woman's cheating, right? Don't do that. Do not ask her if she's cheating. Come to your own conclusion and just like distance yourself from her. But never, listen, absolutely never ask a woman if she's cheating. Never do that. Come to your own conclusion and make your own decision off of that. But never go to her and ask her. Okay? Because by the time... Okay, see... Women want to think that they have this independent thought process and all this, and it's up to them on an independent level. No, it's not. Okay. Every woman's going to be the same with this. Every woman. It's going to come to the same ending with every single woman on earth, because this is how women play these social power games, right? When you go to a woman and you get to asking her questions, especially something like, is she cheating on you? Either up front or later down the road, she's going to take that as he's more into me. He's more, no matter how much I'm into him, he's into me more because he cares more enough to ask me that first. Now, she may play along and may pretend like everything's like, if everything smooths out, everything's fine after that, whatever the fuck, that type of shit. But that social power dynamic is forever shifted over to her. No matter what else happens after that, that power dynamic has now shifted, right? Never go to a woman and ask her if she's cheating on you. You come to your own conclusion and you distance yourself. Dump her, distance yourself, whatever. But never go and ask her if she's cheating. If she's cheating, if she's cheated on you, cheated, whatever. Never do that. Absolutely never. Under no circumstance. Under no circumstance is that beneficial for you. All that does is put you in second place. What's up, Eric G? I often thought of going to Germany. I want to ask if it's more the same. I don't have too much experience with dating in with women in Germany. I don't. I honestly can't answer that. I don't have much experience with that. Um, when I was there, like the brothels were. Well, the brothel I went to was awful. There, it was terrible. It was like American quality women walking around there. It was so bad. I drove back to Prague. It went to show. I'm not even joking. I did that. It was so bad. I had to forget. I had to do something to forget. But yeah, man. Yeah, never go to a one. Never ask a woman. Never ask a woman, is she cheating? What are we? No. Never do. Say I want you to be my girlfriend, something like that. But okay, okay. And when you say I want you to be my girlfriend, say that after y'all have already been like together, but just not actually said it. Like y'all been like you when you got that like that complete trust, like she'll be there kind of thing. Like yo, it's been Thursday. She usually ain't going this long without coming over, and she comes over in like a half an hour type shit, something like that. Then and that's been going on for like months. Now you can drop that whole "I want you to be my girlfriend" type of thing, right? But don't come to her and ask her what are we. And see that's the woman's job. The woman is supposed to ask you all that shit, right? She's supposed to be the one to ask that. Because in the end, for real, okay, in that initial social joining, it's the woman who does the picking, right? The women have all the power in the beginning, but women have no power in longevity, right? So she has to be the one who goes out her way to talk to you, whatever the fuck, and all that shit like that, right? You don't do. I mean, in the beginning, most men typically have their approach. So in the beginning, yeah, go out of your way to talk to her. I'm not saying like always. I ignore bitches more than I acknowledge them. But the reality of it is, in a dating market, you're gonna have to approach majority of the times first, right? Because most women are just far too cowardly to ever approach anybody, including this one. That's why she spent $200 on food and drinks and went home alone. All right, because nobody approached her. Because she's not going to approach. Because that takes character. She's not going to do that. Most women won't. What was so bad about the German brothel? Well, the one I went to it was the women were just American level quality. They were just fat, attitude. Just after you see Show Park, you ain't messing with that no more. I, I remember there was this Russian dude, and I asked him how much was it, and he came up with some price. I think like 120 euros or something like that. I'm like, yeah, dude, I live in Prague. I'm just gonna go drive back to Prague and get me way better quality than this for half the price. I don't know if he heard my English and thought he was going to just try to just get some money out of my pocket. I don't know. Whatever it was, them women wasn't worth that. Right? And if they had women up in there looking like that, there's a low chance that there would have been a higher quality woman ever in that place. Right? German women, yeah, I've heard that. I mean, in my experience, Polish women love black. I still remember this one. I had this one girl like stare me down, but I was so nervous, like I didn't know what to do because I wasn't used to like that quality of girl looking at me. I was in Poland. I used to drive to Poland about once a month, and there was this one bar I used to go to. I remember when I first went there. I had every currency in my bag except Polish zloty, right? And they didn't take a credit card. So like I remember I was trying to like say, look, yo, I don't have. I was trying to speak Czech, but they didn't understand at all, and and so they just let me drink for free the first time I went there, because I had pounds, I had Great Britain pounds, U.S. dollars, Czech crowns, and some other. I can't remember what the other. It was another currency I had. And oh, euros, I think. Yeah, and I didn't have Polish zloty to pay for any beer. And I drove all the way there and got to a bar and couldn't pay. But anyway, I would go walk through the town, and there was this kebab shop like down the street in Bogatina. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up on Google Maps. That's a good thing. I never thought to look this up on Google Maps. Let me see if I can find it. It's in Bogatina. Here it is. Now, will I actually be able to find it? Because I can't read Polish. Let's see if I can get lucky and find it. It's going to be in... Oh, here it is, right here. So... I think this should be the main... Oh, I got to move my browser. Where's the little man at? Which way? Because you get off the highway. I have no idea. This is Bogatina, but because it's right at the border. Because here's the Czesko. Can you see that? You can't see my mouse. There's a Czech-Polish border. Because I would go from, because Liberec, where Spider-Man was filmed at, was like further east. But I would catch a highway, but I don't even know where the highway. If I could find a highway that I would. Because that doesn't look right. Fuck it. Let's just drop him down there and see if I can find my way. Yeah, this is that. Yeah, this looks like. See that architecture? You don't see this in Prague anywhere. That like that wooden. Well, you do see it like once you leave out of like. Once you oh shit. Once you leave out. Hang on. You see some of that, but. Maybe this is it. Was it a penny? I think it was like a penny market. This isn't it. No, this is it. This is exactly it. No, it's not. No, it's not. It looks like that, but that's not it. Well, anyway, I was standing out. I was like out, and it was this girl who was just like absolutely like gorgeous, and she was like interested in me, and I wasn't used to a girl who looked like that paying me that much attention, and I was so nervous I just walked away. Like it was a shock because somebody mentioned a while back. Oh, this is I don't know where this is. Somebody mentioned a while back how they didn't know what it's like to be wanted, especially as a black dude in North America. Like they didn't know what it was like to be wanted. That's real shit, man. Like it really is a thing. Like to be wanted, to get that feeling of like being like genuinely like sought out and wanted. I'm looking for this grocery store. But like, yeah, when you leave the U.S., you'll start to stumble into these scenarios, and it really is uncomfortable. So then it's like you start to see like how women in North America maybe felt by men staring at their tits kind of thing. Like, so I started to understand a lot of that. Maybe this is it. No, yeah, this is, yeah, no, absolutely not. This might, yeah, this looks like where, yeah, I bet this is the, yeah, this is it. Yeah. Oh, wow, this is old. Oh, they closed because I witnessed. I think that was the restaurant because down here was this little like shop. Wow, I haven't seen this in years. Yeah, because I went walking around all down here. So that kebab shop should be. Wait. Yeah, it should be here. Wait. I'm so confused. It's been so long since I've been here. I can't even remember. But that was the rest. That was definitely the grocery store that I was at. Because I remember it because you had to pull into the left and park. Because it was this homeless dude asking me for money as soon as I got there. Okay, yeah, yeah. So the bar, yeah. So, because I remember this now. I can't remember where the goddamn kebab shop was at. Because I remember all that. I clearly remember that now. Because at first I parked back. At first I parked. Well, it means nothing to you guys, but I parked back here at first. But I didn't know if I could keep my car back here, so I left. And I went in there. This is like some little like some little YMCA type of place, or at least it used to be. But yeah, that's Poland. That's the village I used to go to. It's been so long since I've been there. I can't remember where anything is anymore. It would be funny if you saw me walking around. Fuck it, let's see. 2013? No, yeah, they only got 2013, 2019. No, yes, there's no chance of me being there in the picture. But yeah, what's the difference between Czech women and other nationalities in neighboring countries like Slovakia and Austria, Romania? Well, Czech women are definitely more quiet, and in my opinion, they're just a bit more rude, and honestly, just a bit more unlikable. Because they're a bit more rude, and once you start then when you start mingling with like Polish women or like pretty much any other woman in Europe, the Czech women really ended up they either end up on this real sanctioned off attitude kind of thing. It's not really rude in the sense of like American woman rude, but it's just like this quiet, cold, cut off. Like Czechs are generally like that more than than most of other Europeans that I know of. Because you can always tell when somebody's not Czech when when they're like on a tram or something. Because they're just like they know how to actually speak or be polite. Like Czechs are just generally speaking, they're just not very polite. Unless they know you, then they'll just love you to death, and it's like this is a real awkward jump. you know, Either they love you to death or they just completely ignore you, kind of thing. Um, or be just very very cold. You know, it's usually one or the other. You don't find like there is no such thing as like casual conversation with a stranger. Like they just don't do it. Um, but yeah, with but here's the thing though. There's gonna be many Czech women who, like for example, when I was going down to the biology library, oh, you meet girls down there all the time. If you just talk to the girls, oh, they're very friendly to give you phone numbers and everything, or they'll take your phone and find you and friend themselves on Instagram type of shit on your phone. They done that to me down there, right? Just have a conversation, just talk to them. But the thing is, you have to talk. If you don't talk to them, they'll fuck around, just be mean, cold, and and distant. But I've had that happen a ton of times. I'll say a ton of times. It's a decent amount, you know. Last time it happened, because I don't hang out at the library much anymore. But at the biology library much anymore. But when the last time it happened, I was trying to speak to a worker there, and the worker didn't speak any English. This older woman. She's a nice woman, but she doesn't speak English. So I had a problem where I just couldn't communicate it to her well. So I went in the other room and got this little girl. Some guys would have loved this girl because she was like a perfect petite, skinny petite. Like she could easily do an OnlyFans and be in the top 1%, like one of them types. And I went to go ask her, and she immediately just stands up and has her hands folded and is like, and it's like, yes, I speak English and blah, 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 blah. It's because that English to them is a sign of like education or a sign of exoticness, right? Now I'm not saying like girls are gonna be throwing themselves bending over backwards trying to get to you at all times, but it can come off as see to them that English is a sign of education. So it's a sign of some type of some type of a fluency on some level. You know, especially given the context of being at Charles University, right? It's a sign of some type of, at least some type of, especially like the fluent American English where, you know, we can talk fast or use our R's. Okay. Just like how the British can talk without using their R's, and they talk without it. You know, to Americans that shit sounds fancy to us. Like it sounds like they could be a doctor just because of how they talk, right? Well, I'm not gonna say we sound like doctors to them, but it definitely stands out. Matter of fact, I bumped into a girl on a tram yesterday. It was yesterday. She had because I went to, where did I go? Oh, I went to Bila to get some Bila chicken wings, some more, right? But they ain't have any. They had chicken nuggets. They weren't bad, but this girl on the tram, and she had a cello. So I asked her what she had. It was in the case. I said, "Is that a cello?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's a cello." So we start talking about it, right? And she was from Croatia, and she was a real nice girl, real nice girl, real nice girl. But the thing is, like you have, okay, over here you have to be ready for, okay, either they're gonna be like nice and comfortable, or they just not gonna be in the mood, and they're not gonna be afraid to show that they're not in the mood. Now it's not gonna be like loud, you know, American style of not being in the mood. It's just gonna be like, you know, oh, I gotta go now or something like that, right? Like that type of shit. But this girl, she was real cool, man. She was taller than me, and she had a cello. This was on the tram. 2 days. It was yesterday or two. What's the day? Today's two. No, this was Sunday. This was 2 days ago. And we talked the whole way. And where I was going with it was, I said, so I remember what we was talking. I said, yo, so English is okay with you, right? And she goes, yeah. And I said, yeah, cause and I said something about America. She goes, she goes, oh yes, I could tell you're American by your accent. Like so like I still think that's crazy how, like, you know, to be told I have an accent, right? Like I don't hear it. Like as Americans, we don't hear it unless it's like from the South, you know, or like that stereotypical New York accent that I've only heard one time, by the way. After going to New York, I've only heard that New York accent that, hey, I'm walking there, all that shit, you know, you go down the 4th Street and go, that's just not common. At least from my experiences. I only met one person who talked like that. But yeah, it's weird to hear that I have an accent, right? But again, that English is a sign of can be, and then on top of that is that American accent. I think is what gives it off that sense that, okay, like he must be okay kind of thing. But that's only for the Czechs who can speak English and hear it. So for those who can't speak English or hear it very well, and this is the fucked up part that I always talk about. The fucked up part is that it's that whole stigma of Africans, right? It's just a stigma. Everybody sees Africa as like a poor, terrible country. It just is what it is. All right, I didn't make it up. And so if they don't speak English very well, and on top of that, like they don't hear it, they don't know how to hear the accent. Like this happened a few days. This happened about last week. I was at Albert up the street, this grocery store, and the woman, she couldn't speak English, and she goes, Africa. I said, no, I'm not from Africa. She goes, oh, where you from? I said, I'm from Ohio. I'm from the U.S. And she goes, she goes, Mam hala pelo Africa, which means like I love Africa, right? So, but that was a good case. Like she was one of those who maybe like genuinely liked Africans, but don't be surprised if, like, you know, you fuck around, be treated, if they think you're from Africa, like they'll fuck around and treat you a little worse kind of shit, right? But once they find out you're American, then they be best friends with you. Now that was a good scenario. Usually it doesn't play out like that. Usually she gonna keep at, because I remember another time I was at this clock store, and this woman, she was a nice woman, and she asked me where I was from. She could speak some broken English, but she can, you know, she can hold her own, right? It definitely wasn't fluent. But her sons can speak fluent English. I met her. She has 2 boys, roughly around my age. Older woman. And she asked me where I was from. I said, I said, Sima which Americhan, it means like I'm American, American. It's Sima. And she goes, oh, where from? I said, Ohio. And then she goes, no, I mean, where from? You know, insinuating that like I immigrated from Africa to Ohio, right? Like I guess like she couldn't put it together that like I was actually born and raised like in Ohio, and like my family was born and raised in Ohio. So like we're like 100% as far as lineage goes for like the last 2 generations were American. Like she couldn't really process that because she kind of kept trying to ask like, but where are you really from? And yeah, I'm from Cincinnati. I'm from Ohio. But yeah. But you want to know something really weird that I think is really weird? And this is where my racism comes out. I don't say racism. Yeah, racist assumptions. Let's say that. You guys ever see videos of like a white person who was like born and raised in China or like born and raised in Japan, and so English is not their first language? It's the weirdest shit to watch. Because I remember one, it was this man. It was this white guy, and he was born and raised. I want to say he was born and raised in China, right? So and China was his first language, and it was so fucking weird to hear him talk. Yeah, I speak like this. I don't know why people don't believe me because English not my first language. And he just like he dead serious. Like, yeah, people don't believe me. And they show a pictures of him. He's like a baby in like the schools. Like, this motherfucker is not joking. This motherfucker really doesn't speak. Because when you see a white person, you automatically assume that you don't. When you hear the Asian accent, right, you automatically think this motherfucker's like trying to, he's making fun of Asians, right? But he was serious, right? And there was another one where a girl, she was born in Japan, and she never spoke English, was her second language, and she kind of talked like that. She talked with the with that cough of the words and do this and yeah and stuff like that. She was really off and doing it. I'm like, yo, is this bitch playing or is she serious? But it's the weirdest thing to watch. Like, it really is. It's the weirdest thing to watch. It fucked with my head, dude. Watching that, try YouTube, and it's just clips like sprinkled up, all around. But watching like when a white person does, there was another clip where like a white person can speak not pidgin English, but like I don't know what they speak in. They don't speak pidgin English in Jamaica, I don't think. But the Jamaicans, from what I remember, the Jamaican whatever language they're speaking, it's like this kind of like, I can only describe it as like broken English, but I'm sure it's not. That's just my own ignorant way of explaining it. But yeah, then they kind of done like this, and it's English, but it's like weirdly chopped up and like and weirdly slang mixed in. But there was this white dude who could speak it. So he was, yeah, man, go down to the store there, and I do that, and he's like legitimately speak. It's the weirdest shit to watch white people do that. Like, it's the weirdest shit. It's not so much weird to watch a white person speak Chinese, but when they have like the legitimate accent that you can track, kind of thing, that's the weirdest shit to me, dude. Weirdest shit. Patois, is that what it's called? Okay, patois, yeah. Because I remember I had a Jamaican day camp leader, and he was the first one to introduce me to it, and he said, yeah, like in Jamaica they speak, he said the example, I still remember this example he gave me. He was a real nice guy, and the example he gave me was he said, instead of saying, hey man, don't go down there, you in Jamaica you would say something like, hey man, da down there. Like, it's like this, you don't go down there at all that. See, it's like, I don't know what the fuck, I'm just bullshit. I don't know how to speak it, but that's like what it sounds like in memory to me. But yeah, it's 10:30, man. I'm gonna get out of here because it's late. It's 10:30, so I'll catch y'all later, man. Yo, thanks everybody for tuning in, liking. I'm gonna try to live stream either tomorrow or Thursday. I missed last Thursday, but I'll catch y'all later, man. Y'all have a good night, evening, day, wherever you are. Thanks everybody, like, donated, stream, commented, just clicked on me. It's still crazy. So yeah, I'll catch y'all later, man. Peace out.